Oh, I killed the music. I killed the music. I do that so often. I mean to click like the scene select and like pull up the camera while the music fades, and then I just push the wrong button all the time. I'm sorry. What's up, everybody? What a start. That's a pretty typical start here. Why would we have it go smoothly? I have no idea. I want to let you know last night I was supposed to record a podcast last night. It did not happen. I don't know what's going on with this podcast. I have this sneaking suspicion they don't like my politics. It's supposed to be like a financial podcast, and it's the second time they've canceled on me now. So I don't know if that's going to happen eventually or not. But I did it yesterday. Yeah, it's bad. My brain is breaking. It's every morning, like when we start this live, like the anxiety I feel every morning is so different than it's been historically. Like the anxiety that I feel now is I'm not going to be able to cover everything. It's every day. Like right before we went live today, I was watching a Senate hearing where like Republicans are just actively trying to make sure that the Epstein files don't get released. At the same time, they're negotiating a opioid bill. I don't know exactly what they're trying to do with the opioid bill. I haven't read it. But yeah, I'm just like, I leave to start the live. I'm like, I'm going to miss a million stories. As soon as the live's over, we're going to have to start again. They attack Qatar? Wait, what? By the way, I don't see... Jen, is TikTok working? I don't see the TikTok chat. It never did load. It shows no viewer. It says it's streaming, but it shows no viewers, so I have no idea. If you're in TikTok, sorry. What are we talking about with Qatar, though? It says water. It's not Qatar. The Q is next to the W. Israel just struck Doha. How did I miss this? What the fuck? Oh yeah. No, this is on the out. Sorry, I do think this is on the outline. When I was reading it, it didn't even. Let me make sure. Yeah. Shit. Look, this is where. Oh, there's TikTok. I see it now. Here's where my foreign policy expertise is showing. I read it. It's on the outline. It said Doha, and for some reason that never even registered in my mind that Doha was in Qatar. I don't know why. I just assumed when they were bombing that it would be in Palestine. It didn't even register to me that this was in Doha. Yeah, we'll get to that. I have a long video on that from who did they have on? Jeremy Scahill. So we'll have that later. All right. There's no stream on TikTok. I see it. There's now I can see like people talking on TikTok. Jen, are you here? Oh, I can't hear you. Great. Let me adjust this. Yep. Oh, that's why. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. I have my headphones on Bluetooth. I've got to turn them off and back on. Give me 1 second. That's why I can't hear Jen. Let me see if this fixes it now. There we go. Jen, I should be able to hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
I've been here the whole time.
All right. Well, I forgot what I asked you. I asked you about TikTok.
I didn't see TikTok at first, but
just took a while.
Make sure it's
okay. Well, some people are over there. Some came over to YouTube. It's better on YouTube and Twitch anyway. So come on over here if things go poorly. I fully expect. I'm going to talk about Palestine today, so I fully expect us to get taken down at some point. Jen, while you're here, though, good morning, Jen.
Good morning.
So I'm reading the comments. Everybody's telling me what a rough start this is. Why don't you do some announcements while you're here? See if we could just restart.
Sure. Why not? I mean, it wouldn't be a Tuesday or any other day that ends in Y if something didn't go wrong, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's that. As you guys know, we're here each day, Monday through Friday from 9:30 to 1. This is our job. My mouth is really dry.
I thought you were just letting that hang there for like.
No, I just like I don't talk a whole lot in the morning, and then it's like whenever I come on to do this announcements in the morning, it's like I haven't spoken in like an hour or two, so it's like it's questionable if what voice version anyone's gonna get. So there's all that. So yeah, we do this each day, Monday through Friday. Top left hand corner is our gift goal. We need to hit that each day, Monday, so that we can keep the lights on and keep doing this. Because we have bills to pay and kids to feed, all that good shit.
It's fucking annoying.
So what bills to pay or
kids eat. Kids always wanting to eat, and then bills.
I know.
I'm feeding my kids' friends all the time too. Like my kid doesn't want to leave to their house, so I'm always feeding their goddamn friends.
I have to like fight my kid to want to eat, and it's turning into a situation. It's getting really annoying. But
sorry about that.
Yeah, she just. I think she might be hypoglycemic, which is fun because then she doesn't feel good all the time. I'm like, eat some fucking food, asshole.
Nice.
Anyways, if you haven't subscribed to us wherever you're watching, please do that. We've got a members only event that we're going to be starting up here soon. We're going to be streaming some Mormon blind date shows for members only events. Jay will be able to give us some insights on what that's like.
We're gonna do that on Monday. I don't know for sure. There's these two sisters that do a podcast that they're like pretty wild, and I'm trying to see if I can get them to come on, but they are very, very busy. So I'm trying to see if I can get them to show up. If not, it may just be me, but it'll be on next Monday night.
I might have some odd disgruntled Mormon friends that I could probably. I did live there for a couple of years in Utah, so if we need to.
I know enough of them that like they do this for a job that I know they're going to give me gold. So
you got your Mormon connect.
Yeah, and I don't know shit about dating. Like I don't really date. Like it's not really like I don't do all this stuff. So and I don't watch reality TV. So I don't know. It's going to be very foreign to me.
Yeah. So there's all that fun stuff. Some people are asking, are you planning on doing date life with that? Date life?
It's just gonna be Wednesday. It's gonna be Wednesdays now.
Okay, Wednesdays. All right, got it. All right. So like I said, if gift goals top left hand corner, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Super Chats, all that go towards knocking out that gift goal. No, Jen's not Mormon, ex-Mormon. Jen's a former Catholic, I guess you could say, which is I don't know which one's worse. Both are pretty culty.
Public perception is probably worse for the Catholics. I think they've got more blood on their hands historically, but
and we drink it too during Mass.
That's right. That's right.
So, anyways, subscribe if you haven't already, so you can join us for those members only events. If you're opposition and you'd like to come up and talk to Jay, how you do that is you message me on the Venmo username is my Discord. So if you want to come on and you disagree with anything Jay says, that's how you get on to talk to him, is you DM me on Discord, Jen with 2 N's, Deb with 2 B's, the number 1. And check out the link tree in our bio. We're on most social media platforms. We've got merch, Jay's on Cameo, and we upload all these episodes up to Spotify. So there's all that.
Wasn't there somebody that was going to come back today?
So I went and looked, and they weren't opposition. So
okay.
If they come back, they're not coming on. So
gotcha. Okay, cool.
There's that, which I get to tell them now, which is fun for me. So I do enjoy that. Anyways, did you know that there's a word for when a pea rolls off of your plate and onto the floor?
I was unaware of this. This is news to me.
It's called an escapee.
Yeah, that one's solid. All right, I didn't know what to do with this, so I'm just going to show it to you. I also want to say that this was impossible to verify that it was real. I just don't think, like, if this is parody, this video I'm about to show you, if it's parody, it's really shitty parody. I can't imagine doing this with like in such a nuanced way to be funny. The original caption on this post, this is from Christian Nightmare on Twitter. The original caption they claim from this post was "Pastor's Lounge erupts with Holy Ghost power." I don't know what's going on with my timeline. I've been seeing a lot of speaking in tongues lately and feeling the Holy Spirit. So I'm just going to show you this because I had to see it. And I don't think that it's fair that I had to see this alone. And so now we're going to experience this together. I will note just right off the bat that this guy, for some reason, has a jacket in his lap, and it might become apparent later on why. So, I don't know. I don't know what to do with that. Also, why do all Christian pastors now dress like this? What's going on with the flamboyance of the Christian pastors' attire here? We got all sorts of patterns. Listen, I dress like shit. I'm not one to criticize. I just like, this is a lot. This outfit, this dude's outfit, like he got the glasses. What did they call those amoeba looking shapes again? I forget. That was all the rage when I was a Mormon. What's that shape called? That's on his shirt right there. I forget what it's called. I want to say amoeba. I know it's not amoeba. But these outfits are out of control, man. Anybody have that? Paisley. No, not Paisley. Is it Paisley? It is Paisley? God damn. I'm so, like, I grew up in Utah, so like Paisley is just the name of like 30% of the girls born after 2005. So like everybody has 8 nieces named Paisley, with all different spellings. A lot of Y's in there, some Z's, some double E's. But I forgot that was the word there. I know I have at least one niece named Paisley. I don't know all my nieces and nephews. I have at least one. I know that there's a Paisley in the ward that I grew up in. Yeah, there's just a lot of I think my nephew, it just got engaged to somebody named Paisley, and their last name. Well, don't want to say their last name. Actually, don't want to say that. It's going to sound weird together. Her first name and then last name. But anyways, you guys had to watch that with me. And now we're going to watch another Christian nationalist pastor. This is Joel Webon. I have a new name for him, and I apologize. A bit insensitive. Sorry already. I've started on Twitter calling him Fat Walsh because he looks like Matt Walsh, but his face is just a little chunkier. And it seems it's catching on, I think, a little bit. But every time I see him on Twitter now, I call him Fat Walsh. That being said, this is fucking horrific.
If you're a Christian white parent who loves the Lord and loves your children, that you need to have the talk. The talk that we're referencing is the talk that takes your children according to their maturity at the proper time, the appropriate time, and says, there are certain parts of town that you cannot go. And there are certain people that you cannot be around.
Yep.
Right? If there's someone who is black in our church, and they've been in our church, and we know them, and they love the Lord Jesus Christ, great. We're not talking about that person.
Yeah, we're not talking about the good blacks, he says. We're not talking about those ones. The ones that the ones that conform. By the way, if you're a person that goes to his church, you don't believe women have rights. You believe that men are the only ones that can talk to God, and that everything needs to be done through men. Like, legitimately, they don't want women to have rights. They want to undo women's voting rights. They don't believe that women should be able to vote unless they're married to a man, and then they vote through their husband.
Right. But we're talking about when you go into a crowd of people. If you go into a crowd of strangers, and they're white strangers, there's some danger. If they're black strangers, there is 30 times more danger. Them's the facts. And
them's not the facts. Them's not the facts. Them's are no's facts to that's at all. Them's are things in your head. Them's are you being a racist, but them's are not the facts. This is a very prominent Christian. Like, go on Twitter. This guy has this is his job. He's a pastor and a podcaster, and he makes a good amount of money.
And it is actually a failure of your parental duty. White parents, please hear me. If you teach your children growing up, if you lie to them and say, all people and all races of people in our country are the same. They are not. You are actually depriving your child of factual, truthful information that could save their life.
If you are not racist, you are doing your child a disservice, is now the prominent voice on the Christian right. And like, this isn't, nobody should even be surprised by this. Like, he just says it a little more honestly than Charlie Kirk, just but like barely more honestly. Like, you can go back, you could look at Charlie Kirk. Like, remember Juneteenth, when Charlie Kirk rolled out on Juneteenth and is like, hey, it's me, Charlie Kirk, it's Juneteenth, this shouldn't be a holiday, I'm going to work now. And that was the whole thing. But everybody knew what he was talking about. You can go read the comment section. Charlie will be like, oh, it's nothing. I'm just saying, like, there's other holidays that deserve days off more than this one. But go look at the comments, and the comments are like, yeah, that's right. That's right. We don't celebrate that. It's a weird thing in this country that, like, racism is viewed as not justifiable, but like needed. You have these folks saying, like, hey, people at my church, you need to be a little more racist. I would say that this is going to turn off Republicans. Some of them. I think this is where the split with Republicans happens. And it's going to be along this line. It's along the Epstein line. We're seeing very quickly, like, who the psychopath, I guess we're going to use the word evil Republicans are, and they're, like, far right. They're the ones that talk the most about Jesus. They're the ones that, like, talk the most about how important it is to have God in your life. It's such a crutch. It's such a crutch for these guys because they don't have real answers for anything. Their religion's falling apart. They can't really figure out like a good way to make their religious beliefs palatable. So now it's just fear mongering. And if you don't hate people enough, then, like, you're not being godlike. It is such a weird, like, bastardization of what was in the New Testament that, like, really, in order to show your devotion to Jesus, you need to be racist. Somebody said it earlier, like, it's crazy that, like, a Middle Eastern cult made its way to the United States and became the predominant religion. Yeah, it's weird that it made it up to Europe. I don't know how this cult has survived. It's obnoxiously dumb. And now it has taken Americans back. They're like, oh, we got to go backwards. Because they can't figure out how people can be different than them. They can't figure out why people don't want to believe this bullshit. And so now it's just like, we're going to fear-mongering you into being racist white nationalists. Good to see the uneducated MAGA here calling me soy boy this morning. That's very new. Nobody's ever done that before. Good to have you. All right, we're going to get away from these dirtbags. Check out this ad by Mallory McMorrow. She's running in Michigan. And she's incredible. She capitalized on something really important here. She ran this ad, I believe, locally during the Red Zone channel. So if you guys don't watch football, the Red Zone channel is this channel that used to come with just like NFL Sunday Ticket. Now everybody has it. But basically what it does is it just breaks to games once they're like within 20 yards of the end zone. That's the Red Zone. So basically, you're going to see all the scoring plays. It's a cool channel. Like if you're not watching your team, or like you're a gambler, or you like fantasy football, you're going to see every score from every game. And the cool thing about Red Zone, historically, no commercials ever. They never cut to commercials. But Red Zone, ESPN bought the NFL rights, and they, along with, like, it's weird. It's like a weird mixed bag. All of a sudden, for the first time ever, Red Zone has commercials. And Mallory McMorrow's team thought to run this commercial, and it's brilliant.
Football is back, and 7 hours of commercial-free football
Whopper, 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 Whopper
is not. This is just the latest example of corporate greed ruining the things we love. Because it's not just commercials on TV. It's also your grocery store run, where chicken wings are going to cost you $19. Or a bag of chips, $5. Even beer is getting more expensive. It's a 1-2 punch. Tariffs that are making everything more expensive, and corporations that are squeezing every last dime out of us. And if at some point this season you're headed to a game, you can expect to pay all kinds of fees on top of an already expensive ticket price. We have a system that caters to billionaires and corporations over everyday people. Chicken, chips, tickets, beer. Everything's getting more expensive. All the while, Donald Trump is telling us that
prices are down at tremendous numbers,
while he's selling us out to the same corporations who are jacking up prices on the things that we love. And look, on this campaign, we are talking about creating a new American dream. A lot of times, that's the big stuff. Making sure you can afford to buy a house, you can afford to start a family, you can afford to save for retirement. Sometimes, it's just making sure that you can afford to take a break on Sundays without breaking the bank.
That's such a good ad. I never know what parts of my content people are gonna like. And full disclosure, I use a AI generated. It's called Opus Clip. Like any clips that you see online that we post that aren't like a full video, like if it's just me talking, that was made by Opus Clip. I use that all the time, so I don't want to take credit for this. But one of the videos I've made that like got the most engagement and the most views was me saying that like everything in your life that you hate is capitalism. And I think that that's like a through line Democrats are starting to figure out. You don't have to say maybe you don't say it in the same way I did. I don't know. I thought it was effective. But the things that everybody complains about, think about it. What part of your life do you complain about that isn't capitalism? What are the actual hardships that you go through every day that you can't attribute to capitalism? It's all of them. And the response to this from like the MAGA here, you're going to see like, oh, when has socialism ever worked? They're going to say it. They're going to start talking about socialism immediately because they can't just critique capitalism. But these critiques of capitalism and showing like where it's gone too far and how it's changed like everybody's everyday life, even with Red Zone, which you have to pay for. It's subscription based. The reason people wanted Red Zone is there was no commercials. But what happened? Why do we suddenly have commercials now? Because they had to pay like billions and billions of dollars for the right to broadcast the NFL. Why are there billions of dollars required to get that contract? Well, NFL owners have been selling teams. So the NFL owners who have bought teams recently, they paid record prices. I don't remember. Billions of dollars. I don't think there's an NFL franchise worth less than like $3 billion. So you better believe that an owner is going to buy that. And a lot of these are ownership groups. Of course, they want a return on that. So you're going to need the NFL to negotiate a TV contract that is going to give you a return on your investment. But because the investment went way up, and then the salary cap goes way up, you're starting to say that like it's sports. Nothing in sports doesn't have a commercial now. Everybody's jerseys have ads on them in the NBA. It's not that long before we're going to see that in the NFL. Why does the NFL game have to take 6 hours? Why is the Super Bowl 7 hours long? Why do we have to do this? Capitalism. Because people just invest on top and invest and invest and invest and invest. I don't mean to shit on him because I like him and he may be here. Chris, if you're here, like Chris, it's like Chris G Ventures. He posted this list the other day. That was like, I guess he must live in Texas, but he was like Austin's number 5 for venture capital investment. And he's like, good job, Texas. The venture capital's coming here. Venture capital has ruined fucking everything. I goddamn hate venture capital. Every business like that we have in front of us has been ruined by venture capital. I watched The Social Network again this week, which, by the way, like going back, they made Zuckerberg way too human in The Social Network. Now that we've seen Zuckerberg in interviews, you're like, oh, okay. What's the guy's name? He does an incredible job playing Zuckerberg. I forget his name, but he like used his own personality. Zuckerberg is nowhere near that quick-witted. But there was this part where they had the Sean Parker and Zuckerberg and his co-founder, what was his name? Gustavo or something? I don't remember what his last name. I want to say Gustavo Fring, but I know that's Breaking Bad. Anyways, they're sitting there at a dinner, and his buddy's like, settle a debate for us between Sean and Mark Zuckerberg. He said, I think we need to start selling ads. And Sean Parker's like, no, that like you don't even know what it is. You don't even know what it is yet. Like the cool thing about Facebook is it doesn't have ads. And now Facebook sucks. We've got new subscribers. We have ads. We have ads in everything. If you go through Reels now, TikToks now, everything has an ad next to it. Everything. It ruins everything that we like. And it also has turned like politics into something fucking gross. It was already gross, but now like you have content creators whose sole goal is to get clicks and to get advertisers. So they'll like steer clear of controversial subjects. And you see those people, the people with like the biggest following that just make videos that don't do like live streamers. We're lucky in what we do. Like I can pretty much say whatever the fuck I want, and I'm not going to get an advertiser anyways. Advertisers don't really go to live streamers anyway, so I don't have to worry about that. But if you're making like regular content and you're doing controversial stuff, like you're gonna get silenced all the time. You're gonna be limited all the time because the algorithm is driven by their ability to sell ads. So that's why we have so many fucking generic people with millions and millions of followers across social media. That's on the right and the left. That's why I think that's Charlie Kirk. Right, like that's Ben Shapiro. That's David Pakman. That's Brian Tyler Cohen. They're just fucking generic, and they make videos and they sell it with emotion, but they don't like. Rarely do they get into the depths of things. Capitalism ruins our discussion. Like we've taken our entire political discussion online from out of person, which I think is great. You can reach more people, but then like advertisers just get to squash it. There's nothing we ever do in this country that capitalism doesn't come in and ruin, specifically like venture capital. Why are we running ads on TikTok? Why are we running ads on Instagram? Because a bunch of people invested and they want a return on their investment. That's why. It's the only reason why. Same with Twitter. Like Twitter runs ads now that like they don't even look like ads. Sometimes I'll click on them. It's like, oh, that's an interesting video. I click on it and it takes me to another website. I was like, fuck, that was an ad. And now I've got 84 more ads just like that in my feed. And I got to see the same shit every third tweet every time. And I even pay Twitter. I have to, because you have to pay Twitter if you ever want to get like any sort of following. Anyways, shitification. I like that. It's called shitification. Okay, capitalism sucks. Let's have another working example to replace it. See, this is the thing. This is why I don't get it. Like, in my opinion, greed will destroy any form of economy. Don't replace it. Fix it. Right? You do not. There's this flaw in our society where we think a critique of capitalism means you got to get rid of it. Fix it. Fix the shit that sucks. Right? Like we're not a capitalist country. This isn't a capitalist economy. We have a market economy. We have strong social safety nets that are being eroded right now. We like our education that's funded by the government, our police that's funded by the government, our military, our fire department, our roads are funded by the government. Most transportation is funded by the government. Communication has largely been funded by the government. The adoption of the internet and high-speed internet that's largely been on the government dime. Like we already do all this shit. I'm just saying, like maybe if we limited how much money people could make, and if we limited the way that they can manipulate stocks. And the way that they can manipulate share prices and the way that like they're able to fire workers so that their investors don't lose money. Like we've just incentivized the wrong behavior. It's not about like ending capitalism, but like the critique of capitalism is that capitalism will always push. Like there's no end to how much money a capitalist wants. And once they secure enough power, once they've consolidated their power and they're running everything, what do you think they're going to do? Like stop trying to get all the money? Of course they're going to keep getting all the money. So we got to stop that. They've completely hijacked our government. They own everything. They make every decision in this country. And the few times you have somebody like Mallory McMorrow that comes around and writes an ad like that, she's met with, well, socialism doesn't work. And that's the problem. Like I think we kind of all live in this duopoly binary nature where we never get to the real discussion because we're arguing like, what ideal world would be better? It's why I hate like Phil Bro debate. It's why I think it's fucking stupid. I just finished watching a debate last night, or part of a debate last night with Destiny and Rob Noor, and like at the end of that, both people claimed victory. They didn't even really like talk. They never even like got to the claim. They made a claim and then they argued about like one small thing and for 3 hours, and we never got to the actual claim, which I believe was like that the government was weaponized against Donald Trump or something like that. I can't remember what it was. But like I can't even remember what the topic was because we were so lost in the minutia of like what a single sentence fragment meant. And then like 3 hours later, the moderator's like, all right, great job, guys. And both those debaters made a lot of money debating that night, got a bunch of super chats, probably gained a lot of new followers, and nothing got done. And I do think that like thinking in that way, like I'm either right or I'm wrong, and there's no middle, is what's killing us. I can't wait to see what this next wave of Democrats does, as long as Donald Trump doesn't steal the election. Speaking of next wave of Democrats, James Talarico announced he's running for Senate. Good ad. It feels a little staged to me. I don't like the staging here, but this messaging is going to work for Texans. We're in an old pickup truck. We're next to a church. We're obviously in a small town here in Texas. You got the Texas flag conveniently staged right there. Obviously staged, but good message here by Talarico. I think this is going to work.
The biggest divide in our country is not left versus right. It's top versus bottom. Billionaires want us looking left and right at each other so that we're not looking up at them. The people at the top work so hard to keep us angry and divided because our unity is a threat to their wealth and their power. So their social media algorithms and their cable news networks tear us apart. They divide us by party, by race, by gender, by religion, so that we don't notice that they're defunding our schools, gutting our healthcare, and cutting taxes for themselves and their rich friends. It is the oldest strategy in the world: divide and conquer. But we will not be conquered. We're underdogs in this fight. We're going up against those billionaire mega donors and their puppet politicians. We're going up against a rigged system, and we're going up against a lot of money. But I'm a former middle school teacher. I don't scare easily. And Texans don't scare easily. My granddad was a Baptist preacher in South Texas. He taught me that we follow a barefoot rabbi who gave 2 commandments: love God and love neighbor. Because there is no love of God without love of neighbor. Every single person bears the image of the sacred. Every single person is holy. Not just my neighbors who look like me, or pray like me, or vote like me. Those billionaires are trying to keep us from seeing all that we have in common. They're trying to keep us from realizing that there is far more that unites us than divides us. Because once we do, we will come together across party, across race, across gender, across religion, to take power back for ourselves and our communities. 2,000 years ago, when the powerful few rigged the system, that barefoot rabbi walked into the seat of power and flipped over the tables of injustice. To those who love this state, to those who love this country, to those who love our neighbors, it's time to start flipping tables.
That's so good. God, I don't know if you could find somebody with a distaste for religion as much as mine, but like, do that. Just be that kind of religious person. Like, I don't need Joel Webb saying like, hey, you need to be afraid of everything. You need to be afraid of black people. That's what I want. Do that, and like we can all live together. Like that's fine. We need more of that. If you're a religious person and you spend most of your time talking about how evil everybody else is, like you missed the fucking point. Even if you think everybody else is evil, like what's the message of the Bible? Fucking change it. Get off your ass. Go talk about the good things, right? You know what nobody did in the Bible? You know what none of these people did with Jesus? They didn't just go out and scream at people and tell them how evil they were. They went out and they talked. He told stories. He spoke in parables. He spoke in front of people. Like that type of imagery is powerful. That's what worked for Mom Donnie. Mom Donnie went out to the people. And like, I hope James Talarico stays who he is. I hope that doesn't change. But like that's the type of messaging that like modern Christians, you guys you've lost the fucking plot. all the most prominent Christians in this country, like the ones like Christian leaders, not people who are Christian who are leaders, but people who are leaders in Christianity, are filthy fucking rich. And they all have podcasts, and they all have mega churches, and they all have a team that behind them that is making content, and they all have a rock band, and they show up to these events, and they go city to city in these massive events at massive churches with rock music and their face plastered all over it, and people come and teach them like treat them like they're superstars, and they rake in millions of dollars. Meanwhile, like, that's what we need. Talarico, go to the streets. Like, if you guys are gonna be Christian, be fucking Christian. But stop telling us you're Christian while you're screaming at us from inside your megachurch or on your podcast. Show us. I don't know how Christianity has become this, like, we're just afraid of everything. We're afraid of different identities. We're afraid of different skin colors. We're afraid literally of everything. We're afraid of books. We're afraid of learning. We're afraid of school. We're afraid of science. Everything in this world is just too scary, and that's why we're Christian. It seems like that's a lot of your faith, which is how you wind up treating Donald Trump like a savior. Because all these things you're afraid of, all the trans people existing, immigrants coming into our country, socialism, communism, radical Islamists. It's weird. God doesn't seem to be protecting you from any of that. So now you need, for some reason, you guys need Donald Trump. It's crazy to see, like, all of your fears that you have that make you Christian, everything that you wake up every day and you go out and you fight for. Where's God on all that? He's not going to help out at any point? Yeah, you might have a little more, like, you might have a little more backing if every once in a while God showed up and the world just didn't become more and more secular every single year. You might have some backup there. But all you have, it's just fear. And then God's not going to do shit about it, because even if, like, let's just say you're right and God does exist. I've read the book. He doesn't like what you're doing. He's not a fan of what you're doing. That's why he's not with you. And no recognition of that. None. Just like, oh, well, yeah, God needs us to put our faith in Donald Trump. And Donald Trump will get rid of those pesky immigrants, just like God said to do. Make sure you're tired, you're weak, you're hungry. Those thirsting for knowledge, kick them the fuck out. That's what Jesus said. Ew, dude. Ew, go. And Jesus spat on the Samaritan and subsequently kicked him in his groin and went on about his day in his lovely robes. Now, it's not the story. I think you guys have all missed the story. And I really do think it's fear. I think that a lot of you pre-Trump probably had, like, good intentions with your Christianity, with your faith. But it has been completely hijacked by fear. And that's all it is. All day, every day. Just stuff you're afraid of. And so you let Donald Trump do whatever he wants. Because you're afraid that immigrants are going to hurt you. You're afraid trans people are going to hurt you. You're afraid that the LGBTQ movement's going to hurt you. Some of you are afraid that, like, your child might have a child with somebody who is a different ethnicity than you. It's all fear all the time. And you've completely abandoned your faith for this weird, like, culty end of times, like, doomsday prepper shit. And I get that that's controlling. Like, you can get stuck in an endless news cycle. I do it all the time. I'm sure there's people on our side. You know that. You know that sometimes you get online and you doom scroll, and then eventually you're like, I can't fucking do this anymore. I think Shane Gillis has a bit about his dad, like, watching. He's just like, my dad watches Fox News until he can't take it anymore, and then just shuts off the TV and goes to bed. Like, we all have that. It's not strictly a Christian thing, but I do think that, like, that is the movement now. The Christians have realized, at least the conservative Christians have realized, that you guys don't really want to hear about Jesus. You don't really want to hear about taking care of the poor. You don't really want to hear about, like, the mistreatment of the Palestinians. You don't want to hear any of that. You just want to celebrate how great you are and get rid of anybody who criticizes you. And that's what modern conservatism is. Like, we're undoing history for we're going through the Smithsonian. We're like, we're a little unfair to white people here with slavery. Oh yeah, a little unfair. Yeah, we better adjust that so people don't feel like their great-great-grandfather who fought in a war so that people could own other people as property. Oh, I'm sorry that we weren't fair to your grandpa. It didn't say anything about my grandpa donating his time. Yeah, it didn't. It didn't, because he fought to keep slavery. So I don't care. It actually reminds me of a story. I got fucking pissed this morning. Some of you may know this story, but there's a BYU baseball player, my neck of the woods, Provo, Utah. It's a kid that's going to school at BYU. He's from Idaho. All of a sudden, he gets charged with abusing a child, and he gets extradited to Idaho. He goes to Idaho, and he has this trial. And I've looked into it because I wanted to make sure there was no misunderstanding here. He abused this child for 5 years, up until she was 12. She just turned 15, so that was 3 years ago, tops, that she was 14 at the end of the abuse. 3 years ago. And I thought, okay, maybe this kid who got 18 months, I think, like probation. He's not going to serve. I don't think he's going to serve jail time. He doesn't have to register as a sex offender. He's just going to be able to move on with his life. All he has to do is change his name and move to a different city, and he's set. Nobody will ever know, or just go by a different name. And I started, like, I was looking at that. I'm like, there's got to be an excuse. And I thought, well, maybe, he's older now. Maybe this happened when he was a teenager. Maybe he's 12 or 13, whatever. I don't know what the statute of limitations is, but maybe this happened when he was a minor. And generally speaking, we don't hold minors to the same level that we hold adults. So maybe that's why the lenient sentence. Maybe this has been so long ago and he was a kid that's what the lenient sentence is. Nope. The abuse happened when he was 18 and 19. For at least a year and a half, maybe 2 years, depending on when the birthdays are. I didn't do the math, but at least a year and a half. He's abusing somebody as an adult who at the time is 13 and 14 years old. And he went up and people, the judge now is getting death threats. And I kind of feel for the judge, because the judge finally had to come out through a spokesperson and be like, look, the prosecution and the defense came to me with a deal. I forget what it's called, but they're like, they can broker an agreement that the judge basically like can't change. Do we have any attorneys here? I can't remember what that's called. It might be called a brokered agreement. I don't know. But the judge can't change that. So it's not even the judge's fault that this happened, that this sentence was what it was. It was a prosecutor. And this kid is Mormon. And this community is Mormon. And what was even more alarming were the amount of people who came out and wrote letters in defense of this kid, like backing up his character. Oh, he's a good kid. We don't want to ruin his life over this. It's fucking Brock Turner all over again. Yeah, it might be a plea agreement. I don't know. It could be. But then I was absolutely fucking gutted reading the testimony of this young girl and her mother. This young girl's a dancer. She goes to a dance academy there in town. The person who runs the dance academy wrote a letter of recommendation for this kid for trial. Knowing the abuse, knowing the girl, and she wrote a letter to back up his character. It is when people say that like women and girls aren't safe in this country, especially in red states, this is exactly what the fuck we're talking about. And one of the most deeply religious places in this country, in southern Idaho. This is exactly what the fuck they're talking about. Where's the justice here? At the same time, you guys are just covering your eyes and watching this administration cover up abuse of young girls. This is why they say it's all men until no men, and you guys lose your fucking shit. This is why they say we choose the bear every time, and you lose your fucking shit. This is why. Nobody trusts that men are going to be held accountable for the things that they do. This is a child. There's no ambiguity here. There's no consent cannot be given. There's no explanation for this. You can't say like, oh, well, these are false allegations. He admitted it. And then he was charged with like, I forget what the charge even was. It was like physically hurting a child or something like that. Like they didn't even add like sexual abuse to any of this stuff. None of it. I don't know. Like you guys have went really quick from being like, we care about human trafficking to just protecting abusers, pedophiles. I'll say it. Fuck it if TikTok takes it down. I'm already on a restriction. That's who conservative Christians have begun. They're so worried about their religion being cast in a bad light or somebody in their religion being shown to be fraudulent that they would much rather cover it up than do the right thing. The Mormon Church does this all the fucking time. All the fucking time. Somebody goes and reports their abuse to a bishop, and especially if it's like a parent, Then the bishop calls in the parent, and the parent's like, I swear I'm not going to do this anymore. Like, let's go through the repentance process. I talk to God. The bishop gives him like some church discipline. And then 2 years later, the bishop's like, you know what? He's come a long way. I can tell. Oh, yeah, you can tell because he came in once a week and told you that he was doing well. And then you always find out years later that like the abuse never actually stopped. It never stopped. And the victims stopped coming forward because nothing ever fucking happens. They went forward. They thought that bishop would take care of them. They think that that's the structure. That is that is the structure of the society that they live in, where the bishop, like, people respect a bishop far more than law enforcement. And they think, God is in charge of everything. So why does my dad need to go to jail? Well, my family won't have money if my dad goes to jail. And so the cycle of abuse just keeps going. I'm getting real sick of you, but hopefully Talarico can ignite and show us that there are different Christians in this country. That there are Christians who give a fuck. That there are Christians who are willing to throw their pastors and their leaders under the bus to do the right thing. I hope Talarico exposes that there is kind of this silent majority of Christians. And I hope those of you that are in the chat here upset with me, God, shut the fuck up today. How are you going to get mad at me when I'm talking about how Idaho's covering up for sex abusers and this administration, and you're mad at me? Why do you even talk about this? I guess because I'm more Christian than you. I guess despite me not believing in God and thinking Jesus was a phony, I guess weirdly I learned the lessons and I took those lessons to heart and you guys didn't. I guess that's why. Amy said, if assaulted and you have a child, the rapist can get visitation too. Facts. FOD said, Talarico makes me want to follow Jesus again. For real, bro. Thank you, Helena, for the super chat there. Also, I wanted to mention, who sent that super chat? Alicia, I read your super chat. I'll keep that in mind. I appreciate you saying that. I know you didn't want me to read it out loud, but appreciate you saying that. And then here, Betsy said, for the goal, I hope everyone has a good day. Just a reminder, guys, we are crowdfunded, so as we go through this today, if you could help us knock out that gift goal, I'll adjust it here in a minute. And then remember, we do have a members-only event on Monday, so make sure you're a paid subscriber either on YouTube, Twitch, or TikTok, and we're gonna watch some Mormons date, which is gonna give you a real glimpse into why I'm so fucked up. I think at the end of that series, you guys are all gonna feel I'm doing all right for where I came from. All right. I like Tucker Carlson sometimes. I like what he says sometimes, I guess. But what I like more than that is when we're 2 months ahead of Tucker, and then it becomes national news when Tucker says it.
That this focus on Iran is not actually connected to our national security.
Edward, your church covered up child sex abuse for decades and probably continues to. Your church covered up thousands and thousands and thousands of aborted babies in the Vatican. I don't want to hear a goddamn thing about the glory of the Roman Catholic Church. You keep telling yourself that. You can keep telling yourself that it's this glorious thing. Everybody outside of your church thinks that you guys are a joke, just so you know. And the people outside of your church severely outnumber the people inside your church. Good luck proselytizing to that, though. By the way, somebody said the Catholic Church is seeing a renaissance, that you guys are gaining more members. Yeah, where? Where are you gaining more members? Is it in the United States? Is it in places where women have rights? No. Where children have rights? No. Christianity is growing in places where they're going and preaching that Christianity is what lifted America out of poverty and made America great. And people who don't know are like, oh, okay. Yeah, that does seem good. God does bless you guys. Oh, that's how you guys got to be so rich? Because you're blessed by God and not because you're violent colonialists? Okay. They'll learn.
How many Shiite terror attacks have there been in the United States in my lifetime? Let me do the math. 0. So don't tell me that the greatest threat we face is Iran. That's a lie. You're telling it on behalf of a foreign power. Maybe they feel the greatest threat they face is Iran. It's not the greatest threat we face.
Thanks, Marianne.
It's not an endorsement of Iran, okay? Doesn't make me a simp for the Shiites. It just makes me an American who's trying to think clearly about what our problems are. And our problems would include tens of millions of foreign nationals living illegally in my country. Nobody knows their identities. They would include a collapsing economy that makes it very hard for my children to have children and live the life that they grew up with and their friends and all American kids. It would include a drug crisis that's killed millions of Americans over the past 20 millions of Americans over the last 20 years. Iran is not even on the top 10 list. So you can scream at me all you want and call me names and call me.
They're probably not in the top 100. We said we've been saying this, like when we bombed Iran, everybody's like, why are we doing this? And the only justification from this administration from Republicans was, well, they chanted death to America. Okay. They have almost nuclear capabilities and they chanted death to America. Oh. Were they going to attack us? I don't know. Have they ever attacked us? Not really. Only when we were occupying other countries that they were aligned with. That's the only time. But 0 attacks would have happened on Americans had we not went and interfered in the Middle East.
Bigger or whatever, but there's no evidence to support that. And so if the energy of the U.S. government is focused on a threat that's not the primary threat to us, it is by definition ignoring threats that are. And that's a kind of negligence. And so I pointed that out. I was, roundly attacked. My family was attacked. Whatever. I don't care. It's true. And everyone kind of knows it's true. And being bullied by Ben Shapiro into pretending that it's not true, it's just not on the program for me at 56. I'm just not doing that anymore.
Hate him or love him, I think most people don't like him. He's right about that. 100% right. And this is a really frustrating time period. And I have to swallow my pride a lot because I find myself agreeing with a lot of people who historically I have not agreed with, like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Tucker Carlson. But here we are. And we're gonna talk about it. Somebody in the chat said this stream is so unfocused. Yeah, welcome. I don't know if it's your first day here. I think the tagline on one of the socials is like, it's like news with ADHD. This is a bunch of neurodivergent people here. We like things fast moving. It is not for everybody. Every once in a while, I'll do a deep dive and it'll take a whole episode. And we'll do a little bit of deep dive a little bit later today. But sorry about that. If this isn't your thing, you may not want to stick around because it's not going to get better. It's always going to be chaotic. All right, I want to show you this. This is a former Republican congressman. His name is Denver Riggleman. I feel like there was something he did. Jen, do you want to see if there was like some controversy with Denver Riggleman? I feel like there was, but he runs distilleries. And as a Republican now, and this is now, you have the farmers in Arkansas, you have the farmers in Nebraska, you have these distillery owners, you have, is it Jack Daniels from Tennessee? You have now a not insignificant number of Republicans in Republican states saying these tariffs are killing us.
There's even personal examples. I own distilleries, not only AI companies, but I own distilleries. But we just got a 50% tariff notice for glass and some of the other things that we use to do bottling on our lines. And for the last 2 weeks, we've been trying to figure out what do you do, right? Do you actually raise prices? Do we limit production? What do we do with bottles? Do we forward lean and get more bottles, right? When I talk about pallets, I'm talking thousands and thousands of dollars in added costs for our companies. I can't imagine what it's doing to larger manufacturers if you go downstream on tariffs. The economy.
Thanks, Peter.
Economy is the single biggest thing here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. I can tell you that, especially with the job losses up north with government jobs and contractor jobs, and you're seeing sort of these arbitrary cuts coming down right through DOGE and through other mechanisms. So for right now, I think the economy is not in a great place. If you look at the revised June numbers going down, only 22,000 jobs added this month. The messaging, I think, from Democrats and independents could be simply, this is a failed experiment in the first 8 months, and there has to be a course correction. There's even.
I wasn't even going to show this. So, look, we've got a problem there, and I think that Trump is about to back down on this. Let me see. Let me pull this
so
up
it
here.
appears that most of the tariffs. That Donald Trump has implemented during this second term.
Let me get this over here. Mr. Global actually made a video about this. I went and I read the executive order this morning. God damn, TikTok sucks when it comes to like trying to go full screen. If you look at this with TikTok, if you backtrack, it just plays. So Trump has now issued a new executive order. I'm going to have Mr. Global explain it because going through the weeds, I've got it highlighted, but I don't know that it needs to anything more than what Mr. Global says here needs to be said. But Trump is obviously getting pressure now. Trump is obviously getting pressure from private industry and pressure from Republicans, and now he issued an executive order basically saying, like, I'm gonna start backing down on these tariffs.
That most of the tariffs that Donald Trump has implemented during this second term is about to go away. They're not really talking about it, though. At least they recognize what a failure it's been. So the other day, Donald Trump quietly signed this executive order, modifying the scope of reciprocal tariffs and establishing procedures for implementing trade and security agreements. Yes. So what does the order state? Basically, any country that can come to a trade agreement and security agreement with the United States will get either reciprocal tariffs or 0% tariffs.
Oh.
I mean, actual reciprocal tariffs, not the ones that he claimed before were reciprocal, but weren't. It means the tariffs on these thousands of goods in the United States are going to be reduced significantly or done away with altogether.
Who said that? Watch the grocery prices not go down. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how many of these people complaining about tariffs ruining their businesses don't just like keep the prices where they're at. When they've raised prices for tariffs, that is one of the problems, Dana. Like, what recourse do we have? All of, and this is kind of what like Harris was talking about when we were talking about like gouging Americans. This is going to be one of those examples. If you see prices that have gone up at your grocery store, and then we remove tariffs, if the prices don't come back down, this is exactly what she's talking about. Like they're increasing their margins and they'll have record profit again.
But it's going to be done quietly. So here before too long, when they stop talking about how much tariff revenue they're bringing in, that's the reason why.
Stop buying. I like that, Juliana, as much as you can. But, some of us don't have farms. It's hard you got to feed your family. But I agree. Shopping around's good. Yeah. Marianne, thank you for the super chat. Tony takes a pic, said, adding to the gift goal. Have a great day. And thank you, Johnny Longtrail. Good to see you here. Ash also said something. Ash said, it was over here. Jen had it. Ash said, it's all men hurts their feelings, even when we explain what it means. They want to tone police. We're trying to advocate for the safety of women and kids, and they are worried about their feelings. I'm so sick of it. Hey, Jen.
So, I looked into Denver Riggleman.
I was just reading this. This is fucking.
I don't know if this is the controversy that you were referring to.
It might be.
He did speak against like QAnon and stuff like that when he was in office, but
Congressman Denver Riggleman's new book, Bigfoot, It's Complicated, begins with a chapter called A Discussion on Simian Genitalia. In other words, Riggleman, who was accused of enjoying Bigfoot erotica during his 2028 congressional campaign, is leaning in. And he's against Leslie Cockburn. This is a good argument for like this is a simulation. It's a real story where the Republican congressman wrote Bigfoot erotica while he was up against somebody named Leslie Cockburn. There's just no way that this is real. This is the best argument for simulation theory.
There's more than one story. He wrote a book.
Yeah, this is crazy. It's a 150-page narrative describing two Bigfoot finding expeditions he took in the 2000s, led by an unscrupulous expedition leader and accompanied by a handful of true believers. Riggleman forked over a few grand for the privilege of camping out in the woods in Washington and West Virginia to search for the monster.
So yeah, Bigfoot erotica. They also had some things.
Hold on.
January.
Hold on. Gets better. Before we dive into whether or not Riggleman manages to teach us anything, I have to note that this book is absolutely jam-packed with Bigfoot sex. I mean, it's just so horny. Riggleman says he's not a fan of Bigfoot erotica. I do not dabble in monster porn, although my wife does call me her silverback, he writes. A line that may give pause to patrons of the couple's Silverback Distillery. It's called Silverback Distillery. But throughout the story, he misses no opportunity to get lascivious. How could someone kink shame those gentle souls who take delight in the soulful, passionate moan of Sasquatch, he wonders, half joking. Once he's out in the wilderness searching for the monsters alongside a handful of Bigfoot devotees. Is this real? Did you send me? Is this real?
Yeah, he wrote there. Yes, there's more than one article on this.
He regularly points out his compatriots' interest in this seems so fake in Bigfoot's massive pecker. When a Bigfoot believer tells Riggleman that human singing lures the creatures, yes, creatures plural, Riggleman speculates that should the lead singer of Journey appear and deliver a solo, we'd have to fight off scores of salivating Bigfoot mamas peeking from behind trees, ready to mate. probably rubbing their grotesquely rigid nipples against tree bark. Though he clearly finds Bigfoot, shall we say, compelling, Riggleman isn't interested in laying out a case for the creature's existence. He writes that it would be cool if Bigfoot existed, but he spends most of the story positioning himself above the fray. The group of big piece of watcher. He's just a fucking voyeur of Bigfoot sex. He doesn't want to be involved in Bigfoot sex. He just wants to watch it. He's in the chair in the corner. The group of Bigfoot's devotees who make up the rest of the expedition party are foolish and hopeless. Riggleman believes he calls them excellent fodder for my upcoming book and says he couldn't care less about their opinions or suggestions. Fuck these people who tell me this isn't sexual. I don't care about that. This is a story of sex. Well, when I said I thought there was stories about him. I don't remember if this is the story.
I mean, there's some more like the center of January 6th controversy from like The Hill. So that would probably be more in line with what we typically cover. But I thought Bigfoot might be a little bit more controversial.
Huh. Well, this guy lost to Bob Good. I get it. He should have lost to anybody. The part of this is at the beginning is Riggleman defeated Democrat Leslie Cockburn despite the Bigfoot story. That means the folks in what state's he from again? Is it Virginia? Where was he?
Virginia.
In Virginia. The good folks of Virginia said, I'd rather have a guy who beats it to Bigfoot than Leslie Cockburn. I don't know about Leslie Cockburn. It maybe just sounded too painful for them. This is incredible. This has to. I don't know. You're getting this is sounding Joe Rogan, but you're starting to get me on simulation theory.
I mean, let's be honest. That would be a pretty strong billboard. You know.
Yeah. Just open the debate. I'd like to remind you that my opponent here beats off to Bigfoot porn. How do you combat that, sir? Would you like to respond to that? I would not like to respond to that. Thank you. I'm going to
wrote a
ignore
book about
this.
it because
you
I
can
do
read
agree.
my book.
You can read my book all about it. It's
I'm not giving away the secrets. I'm not giving away the secrets. You got to buy the book.
But yeah, there was other things he did speak against, like big part in, I guess, in the January 6th trial.
Unbelievable.
So there's that too. But I think
all right.
Bigfoot stuff's more fun. Well, since I'm here, where do you get politics and Bigfoot, erotica? Where else do you get this kind of stuff?
Where else could you?
No idea.
The person who said the stream's chaotic and kind of nailed it, whoever you were.
Yeah, it is. I was actually getting ready to look at my little reminders that I post out. There's one that I was getting ready to tag that says we run on chaos and donations. You know, we've got the chaos covered, but we need your guys' donations. So if you guys could help fix that, the Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Super Chats all go towards knocking down that gift goal balance, which is in the top left-hand corner. I think we need to update the total. I'll have to get that to Jay in a second. So if you guys could help us out sooner rather than later, so we can keep this going, keep the lights on. We do this each day, Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 1 Pacific Standard Time. If you guys disagree with RTP, you guys can come on and talk to him. How you do that is you message me on Discord. My Discord username is the same as the Venmo. So Jen with 2 N's, Dub with 2 B's, the number 1. Just send me a message on Discord and I can bring you up to talk to him in real time. There is, if you haven't subscribed to us already, Jay mentioned earlier, we've got a members only event that we'll be doing on Mondays, previewing a reality show that can have some other. All right, is this a new plot twist for the show? Are we like?
Like, am I on the show? Is that what you're asking?
No, not that. Not part. Like. I mean, do you think Riggleman like dated Bigfoot, or was it just like, you know?
I don't know.
No, probably. I mean, I'm just wondering if this is.
That was a stretch. That was a stretch there. Yeah, that's a stretch.
Just an idea. I'm, trying to be a thinker. So anyways, if you want to join us for that members only event, we do that we're doing on Mondays. Be a subscriber wherever you're watching. So TikTok, YouTube, we have 4 different memberships over there, and on Twitch, you have to be a paid member to join those events with us. So also check out the link tree in the bio. We're on most social media platforms. We've got merch. Jay's on Cameo, and we upload these episodes to Spotify. So
Sure do.
Yep, there's all that. I heard the more colorful. Why can't I say colorful? There we go. That one was tricky. More colorful your salad is, it's better for you. So I replaced my croutons with M&Ms.
Nice. No. That's a 1. That might be one of your worst ones. I hated that one. Thanks, Jen. All right. Well, look, we showed. Sorry, we got a little distracted with Bigfoot porn.
Hold on really fast. You need to look in general chat in Discord.
Oh no. This is gonna be bad. I'm not gonna be able to show any of this, I assume, right?
Probably not, but
Is this a real book? Let me see. I think I could drag it over. This is apparently a book, Come for Bigfoot, Volume 1 by Virginia Wade. This is a real... Oh my God, there's so many of them. Drag. I'm in love with Mothman. I'm engaged to Mothman, getting married to Mothman. Who has these pictures at the ready? This is the best one. Bigfoot threw rocks at me, so I fucked it. By Danielle Devour. What is this? All right, that's enough. We gotta get away from that. We gotta get back. All right, we were talking. Denver Riggleman was talking about tariffs and prices going up. And God, I don't even know how to segue out of this. This part was going to be the funny part, and now I feel like this won't be as funny. But Jesse Waters has the solution. The solution to all of our problems is always with MAGA. It's always just like Trump. Trump is the solution. And here's what Jesse Waters is saying now. Of course, they're talking about Mom Donnie. I'm not sure why. Oh, I do remember why. They were saying that this like socialism talk is actually starting to work. So now they switched to communism, which clearly they don't know what it means. But here's Jesse Waters' suggestion of how we can fix this.
A lot of fluff and very little beneath. And Bernie kind of alluded to it. He's like, he wears a nice suit. He's got a nice smile. And that can fool a lot of people. Trust me. I know, Kaylee. But they're on to something with the prices and all that. I mean, prices are still high. Can't Trump just bring in some corporate executives and just say, hey, guys, there's going to be a socialist revolution in this country if you guys don't do something. Please do something. I mean, you could do this with the heads of these universities. I mean, these tuition rates are out of control. Why doesn't he just say, guys, we're going to investigate you guys for monopoly, price collusion. Get this tuition down. Get this stuff down.
Yeah, he's working on it. Look, Scott Bessent is the best of the best.
Or we got this like whole democracy thing. We got Congress. We can pass laws. Why is it that the entire, like, you guys keep telling us that it's not about authoritarianism. It's not a dictatorship. That it's not a cult. How come your solution to everything is, why doesn't Trump just ask them to do it? They'll do it. Everything he asks us to do, we do. Doesn't everybody just do what Trump says? The solution to all of this now is like to call in these massive corporations and be like, charge less. You guys, you said we couldn't do price controls. You said the government shouldn't be involved. These same people spent a month and they still talk about Kamala Harris and saying like, we're gonna have price controls. They still talk about it every day. And now they're like, why doesn't Trump just unilaterally do price controls? Wouldn't that fix it? While we're talking about socialism and the evils of socialism here. And we laud capitalism. You guys aren't real. You're not a real party. You don't have ideas. You don't have an ideology. There's no like coherent through line. It literally is just Trump. Just Trump is everything. Everything that needs to be done, Trump will do it. And we don't criticize. We don't talk bad about Trump. We just know that everything he does will be perfect. And it's our job to convince everybody that Trump will be perfect.
alongside Donald Trump. Scott Bessent said, I'm predicting Q4, you're going to see an accelerant on this economy. And already, if you look at it, 3.3% GDP growth, hundreds of billions of dollars of investment pouring into the United States. Donald Trump's cut taxes, deregulating.
Hey, you stupid idiot. Bad news. New jobs numbers came out today. They revised the jobs numbers. That's bad. See this? That's bad. What are we down? 911,000 is what we dropped March numbers down to. Everything is going so good. There's some people who promised to spend some money here, and there's no proof that we will get that money. There's no deal that forces them to give us that money, and GDP is at 3%. Cool. It sucks. MAGA, this fucking sucks. Can we get off this ride, please? Do we have to keep going on this ride? This is like the water ride and all the power's out, so you're just floating through like a stale, stagnant like swamp. You don't even get to see the animatronics. It's just a slow, lazy river of shit. Can we get off the ride, please? Why is Fox News being like, it's actually going really well right now? The fuck are you looking at? GDP? That's it? Just GDP. That's the only thing. This reminds me of my debate with Andrew Wilson when we like laid out the entire economic argument and he didn't understand any of it. So he's just like, you said GDP. Yeah, I did say GDP. I said it about a lot of things. And I explained that this is how immigration affects GDP. And you just said, I heard GDP. I don't want to discuss that. That's republicanism. Are you guys all this You're not all this fucking stupid. I swear you're not. I know that you're not. You're just like your hate is outweighing your brain right now. You're like, I don't really want to think. I just want to hate. This is a fucking disaster. What are you looking at? 300,000 jobs. They revised the number down. 300,000 jobs. That's bad. See, all this, the initial estimate are these blue dots. The pink are the latest estimates. The only time we're like even close to matching estimates is like when job growth is way down. Here's 2025. I think this is about when we passed the big beautiful bill. Fuck! Just immediately. God damn it. There it goes. There it goes. Off the cliff we go. Tell us how good it is, Kaylee.
He has poured a fire on this economy. We're having to dig out for 4 years.
Yeah, that's true. That part is true. He has poured a fire on our economy. He's decimating it.
Years of Biden-era fecklessness, but we're getting there. And I can tell you this, by the midterms, I think you're going to have a very evident contrast between communist New York City and a thriving United States of America.
All right, Kaylee.
You fucking idiots don't know what communism is. He's not a communist. It's so stupid. It's so goddamn stupid. He's not a communist. He's a democratic socialist. There is a vast difference between the two. A vast difference. The main difference is the existence of a government. That's the main difference. But he's not even a socialist. He's a democratic socialist, meaning he still likes democracy, and meaning that if you're a democratic socialist, you're not governed by the ideals or the ideology of socialism, right? You can kind of pick and choose. That's the beauty of democratic socialism. You're saying that, like, I think our country needs more socialism. I think our country needs a bigger social safety net, or at the very least, like a more fair economic structure. But the people are free to vote. The people are free to vote on like when the government spends money, what social programs we create, what we do in our cities. That's like it's democracy. But it just says that like we all like on our side of the aisle, we're going to focus on taking care of people who need money and not the people who already have all the money. But like they're so far gone and they're so disingenuous and they lie so much that now they're just saying the word communism. I promise you that if you got Jesse Waters or what's her goddamn name again? Not Tommy Lauren. What's her name again? Looks exactly like Tommy. What is her name? I just said it like 2 seconds ago. Whatever her goddamn name is. Kaylee McEnany. Neither one of them could tell you what socialism, democratic socialism is, or communism. And I doubt they could tell you what capitalism is. The through lines through this are so crazy. This started with them talking about doing socialism, Donald Trump doing socialism, and then ended with like, that's why communism is bad. You think my show's chaotic? That doesn't even make any fucking sense. Go find like a capitalist, a socialist, and a communist, like scholars, and sit them down and make them watch this clip. And all three of them together in unison would say they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They have no fucking clue. I don't know. Fox News they're real good at using words they don't understand. And a little bit of homework, like just a tiny bit by Jesse Waters, could help him not look like such an dipshit. All right. I'm going to move on to the Epstein stuff. We can come back to those highlights later. But I did want to show this clip from Matt and Shane's secret podcast. This is Shane Gillis and his guy, Matt. They're largely seen as like riding the fence with Trump. Here's what they had to say about Trump and Epstein.
That's insane that they're just being like, yeah, no, everything was cool, above board, don't
Looks
worry.
like Trump dog.
Yeah.
It's tough not to fucking point some fingers.
Huge
Because
question.
you got killed while you were president.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. We need a full live reading of Riggleman's book. Confucius say Bigfoot, Big Wang.
And you were there. There's so many photos of them chilling.
Allegedly hung with his staff.
I know.
Allegedly hung with his staff.
The cope on Trump's innocent. The cope is fucking pretty intense. Yeah, he did go to the island and he just hung out with the staff, dude. The staff said that. Was the staff 12?
I know. Who knew John
I think
McAfee?
everyone was hanging out with the staff.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
The massages. Yeah, the John McAfee was the only. He was the one who allegedly was trying to bring it down. I don't know if that's just internet folklore. But yeah, turns out he was. It's funny to be taken down as a pedophile by a guy who's getting shit on like a neighboring island. Just being like, this isn't right. We gotta take this down. Yeah, dude, that shit. That was pretty. Well, there's the thing. They were never going to release it. That was like it became apparent. Like they're not fucking like those trillionaires.
Did you see him? Somebody brought it up at a meeting, and Trump was.
Hey, anybody on the YouTube chat see New Epic Entertainment who claimed he has 5 degrees and then said this? Like part of socialism is universal income and a majority working for the government. It has been every time. No. What are your degrees in, sir? Could you just go read like some Marx or something and come back? Just go learn something and come back. I don't know why you had the confidence to say that, but go read some Marx and just come back, or just Google something. That's crazy. You do not have 5 degrees.
I was like, are you guys still talking about Epstein? It's like, that's crazy. There's so much other stuff going on. I can't believe you're bringing up Epstein. Are you serious?
It's Jones. It's Mr. Jones. New Epic Entertainment is Mr. Jones. That's bad news. New Epic Entertainment, if you don't know who Mr. Jones is, that's not good. That's not good that people think you're like him, just so you know.
God, get a life. You guys are obsessed with this shit. What the fuck?
I'm gonna cut there. The reason I just show that because it's so mainstream. There is just this faction now of like MAGA that's holding on to, no, Donald Trump's totally not covering this up. But everybody else in this world, everybody who views this not through like MAGA colored glasses, they see exactly what's happening. They see that the FBI and the DOJ is covering this up, and they're doing so because Trump asked them to. And if you want to know why, Republicans, here's 2 of your favorites. Here's Kash Patel, and here's Benny Johnson, and they'll tell you exactly why the Epstein list, which I don't know if it exists, but the Epstein files. I gotta correct that. It's the Epstein files. Why they're not being released. They told you. You guys all believed this 6 months ago. Now, or I guess 10 months ago. Now it's a different story.
You say that the FBI has Epstein's list. They're sitting on it. That doesn't seem like something you should do. You're protecting the world's foremost predator. That seems like an evil thing to do, regardless of who may be embarrassed in the release of that list. Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list. You don't think that Bill Gates is lobbying Congress night and day to prevent the disclosure of that list?
Wasn't Bill Gates just at the White House like 2 weeks ago? That's weird. Wasn't he just there? Huh. If only one of those 2 people in that video could work for the FBI and really really get some change going and get that list out there, get those files out there. It's too bad that those two podcasters, that neither of those podcasters got nominated and confirmed to be the FBI director, because if they were in there, they would be showing us everything. And by the way, the one that isn't, like, let's just say Kash Patel becomes the FBI director. Of course, he would go in and he would show us all the secrets and he would release all those files. But Benny Johnson, dude, who better? Who better to go out there? Because Benny Johnson has principles. Benny Johnson is a man, like, yeah, he was paid by Russia, like hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars probably. Yeah, they were paying in insane amounts of money. But, like, that didn't affect Benny Johnson, because that motherfucker is a straight shooter, that Benny Johnson. It didn't affect his coverage at all. He didn't even know that it was Russian money. He's like, you know what? It makes sense that people will give me $400,000 a month for my content. That makes total sense that some person we've never heard of, Edward Gregorian, whose country we couldn't figure out his country of origin or why he was saying he was like, I'm in Spain. It's like, yeah, but your email signature says you're in Canada, so that's weird. It seems like you're lying about where you are. No red flag there, no problem there. Edward Gregorian, who's definitely a real person, giving me $400,000 a month. Benny Johnson wouldn't do that shit. The thing is if we ever got to a situation where the government continued to hide these files, even if it was a Republican, Benny Johnson would be out there calling for the files repeatedly. And I'll show you. Here's Benny Johnson right now calling. Well, I'm gonna pull this up. Let me go to his Twitter page, and you'll see. Like, this was his thing. So I'm glad. Like, I'm glad I came across Benny Johnson today. Let me go to his Twitter and just see. I mean, it's going to be all Epstein. This is going to be, it's going to be nothing but Epstein over here on his Twitter file. Okay, well, that's the pinned one. Okay, this is somebody. Oh. Okay, so this is about violence in New York.
Media attention.
Oh, this is about that too. Yeah, the Epstein stuff's probably because this murder happened. So he's got to. It's not going to be all just like. Oh, here it is. Oh, no, this is also about the murder. This is also about a single murder. Oh, that's weird. MacArthur Foundation went to Mecklenburg County to reduce jail pop. Okay, so not there. Oh, here he goes. Oh, no, that's Tom Homan. Oh, Cracker Barrel. Yeah, that's the important thing. Cracker Barrel. Victory, he says. Cracker Barrel abandons all modern renovations. Great job, Benny Johnson. The real important stuff. Benny Johnson's fighting fucking Cracker Barrel. That's good. What's this? Oh, Israel launches airstrikes in Doha. Yeah, it's going to be down here. We're going to get to, because Benny Johnson cares about this stuff. Man. But he keeps going after, it seems like he's just a lot of pictures of black people. I don't know. He's definitely not racist. Oh, Stephen Miller. He's probably talking. Oh, no, he's talking about that murder too. Okay. So what's this? Oh, this is Mark Cuban. This is actually a good clip. You guys want to watch that? Tucker Carlson asked a good question to Mark Cuban. It sucks because Mark Cuban, like, of the billionaires, he's one of the better ones, and he's one of the few that will sit on stage and have these discussions. This is the flotilla that was going to Gaza that was hit by a drone. FBI has been investigating the Charlotte train murder. Okay. So it's just the Charlotte train murder. Here we go. Fatherlessness is killing America. Super important. RFK Jr. Yeah, okay. So Benny Johnson doesn't give a fuck. He's a liar. That's weird. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird how this was like your big thing? I'm so tired of hearing this too. I'm so tired of Republicans like, how come Democrats, when they were in office, didn't expose this list? We've answered the question, and you know the answer. And the only reason you ask that question is because your guy is so obviously covering it up. It wasn't a cover-up. Right? Republicans spent 4 years investigating Hunter Biden. You guys could have done this too. Republicans didn't do shit about this either. And the only reason anybody started to care is because you guys campaigned on it. We're like, whatever. Kamala Harris didn't even adopt it. The only time people got involved is when all of a sudden it became abundantly clear that Donald Trump was covering this up. And you guys are like, oh, we don't care about this anymore because you guys didn't care about it when we cared about it. So now we're not caring anymore. And then you just left. Like, we don't care about this anymore. I'm so tired of how dishonest all of you are to yourselves too. It's embarrassing. Treat yourselves better. Be intellectually honest. This is it. Honestly, it's sick. How do you care about it until Donald Trump won't release it, and now you don't care? Marty said, drink some water and say something nice about yourself. That's important. To 5 degree guy down there. Make sure to say something nice about yourself. Becky said, for sexy Sasquatch costume fund. Thank you. I'm nervous. I didn't know there was such a need for Sasquatch erotica. So we had the birthday card story broke. If you're not aware, I want to show this actually because I haven't made it through these files yet. They're mostly they're mostly unreadable to me. But let me show you the files that came out. So Oversight Democrats released a bunch of files from this Epstein book. Now, I didn't realize it was like this. So I thought it was like when they said that Trump did this thing for the Epstein book, I assumed that it was like a binder. Right? Like I assumed it was just like a bunch of things compiled into a binder and it was loose leaf and you could just slide something in there. That's kind of how it was done. But you'll see here, this is an actual like hardback leather bound book. It's called The First 50 Years. And this is volume 1. I don't know which one Trump's is in, but you can see these, they've photocopied the pages and you'll see here, they're loading slowly. Like it's just Ghislaine. I think it starts like this is the history of Epstein, and it's like his childhood. There's some stuff in here that I can read, and it's like Jeffrey and it like him and his friends were always like in a group trying to have sex with girls. They're consistently walking in on each other having sex with girls. It's very very bizarre that this is in the book, but like now you Trump folks, you've got a real problem because this book was printed 15 years ago. So if this thing is fake, if this letter is fake, are you telling me that they staged this 15 years ago? Somehow they knew to like fake a letter from Donald Trump and put it in this book to bury him 15 years ago? More than 15. Well, it was 2003. Yeah, I guess, was it 20 years ago? 22 years ago? Yeah, the FBI did it. Like, this is what they're rolling with. I want to show you. Just so you know, like, I did not know that it was a book like that. I thought it was just like a bunch of pieces of information. I didn't realize it was compiled and printed and published. I had no idea. But here's how Mike Johnson and is I forget what's this dude's name on Squawk Box. He's so terrible. Here's what Mike Johnson had to say. Remember this.
I mean, how does this play out? It's everywhere.
This is, by the way, this is from July. This is before we had copies of the book. So this is when the story broke in July that this drawing was out. And here's what Mike Johnson said. Is he going to provide evidence? Or is he going to tell you that he knows Donald Trump's heart? Take a guess.
Leads all, Drudge. It's all over the place with, sirens on Drudge. Woo, 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 because someone drew in 2003, might have drawn a picture of a body letter.
It's so crazy. Trump drew it. I don't know if they're just afraid to be sued or if they're in Trump's pocket, but someone might have drawn a picture. No, the accusation is Trump drew this picture. Just say what the accusation is. You can't be sued if you just say the accusation is. But even then, in July, you could see the cover up.
Before the guy
Cornyn, that's right, Cornyn.
All the real info hadn't even been out at that point. I don't think about this guy.
The president and I talked about that ridiculous allegation this morning. He said it's patently absurd. He's never drawn such a picture. He's never thought of drawing such a picture. And he said, did you see the language of this bogus supposed communication or card or something I supposedly sent to Epstein? He said, I don't talk like that. I don't think like that. They're literally making things up. And he's so frustrated by it. And he's going to wind up, I think, suing some of the media outlets that had put all this out there because they informed them that it was totally contrived.
Don't tell us it's not a cult. Don't tell us that this isn't a dictatorship. Mike Johnson went on national television to defend this, and his defense was, Donald told me so. And that was enough for most of you. How's that enough for the Speaker of the House? He's supposed to be independent. He's supposed to investigate these things. How the fuck is the Speaker of the House going like, well, Donald Trump said, yeah, that's silly, so we're going to sue him. No evidence? You're not going to investigate it? You've just come to the conclusion because Donald told you? Explain how it's not a cult, please. Where's our Republicans in the chat? Please explain to me how this isn't a cult. taking somebody's word for something and then going on TV and presenting it as if it's a fact. He said this whole thing is made up. Well, now what's going to happen? Is he going to backtrack now? Is he going to backtrack now that it's not made up, that this book does exist? By the way, this is one of the few times Democrats have been ahead. Donald Trump is really good. I've talked to you guys recently about like the slow drip and how Trump is just trying to allow this to come out slowly so they can discredit it. But what Democrats, it appears, and I don't have evidence of this, it appears that Democrats know what they can get, and these stories come out and they leak them early. They leak the story early so they can get responses from Republicans like this. And then when the evidence comes out later, they can go, why'd you lie? Why'd you go on there and pretend this didn't exist? Why did you tell the American people this did not exist? Why did you tell the American people this was made up? Now it's not that it's made up. Now it's that he didn't do it. It wasn't really his signature. Now that's their new through line. And you'll see it here. Here's from the White House this morning. So we promise Trump didn't draw this. Just take us at our word. Don't talk about it anymore, please.
The White House press secretary tweeted, quote, "It's very clear President Trump did not draw this picture and he did not sign it."
Why is it very clear, Caroline? Why is it very clear? It is not clear at all. In fact, if this isn't drawn by Donald Trump, this is some elaborate shit. This is an elaborate long game that for 20 years they sat on this, 22 years. They just hid this, and they're like, "Look, we're gonna draw this picture, and it's gonna be like kind of like overt. We're not gonna like he's not gonna directly hit the point that like he and Epstein both have secrets together, but just like kind of. And he's gonna write this weird ass poem, and he's gonna have a woman's body shape around it, and he's gonna have like his signature be the pubic hair. We'll sit on this for 20 something years, and then we'll release it when Donald Trump is president, and we want the Dems to be reelected." It is not clear at all that Donald Trump didn't draw this. In fact, if you're just going, again, Occam's razor, of course he did. It makes there's no other like explanation that makes any fucking sense. Why else would this exist? It was before the allegations came out. It was before Epstein was a social pariah. It was during the time that Trump was still spending time with Epstein. They were still friends. You have the request to get this. Everybody else did it. All these other people, famous people that they requested to write these letters, they all did it too. But Donald Trump's is the one letter in this entire book that they just made up because they knew he would be president 20-something years later. You guys buying this shit, MAGA? I've honestly, I have concerns for you. If you see Caroline Leavitt saying it's very clear President Trump did not draw this picture and he did not sign it, I've got real questions about your mental acuity. If you're like, yeah, it is very clear. It is not clear at all. If this picture just showed up, if they were like, I found this picture in a desk and it appears to be drawn by Donald Trump, I'd be like, yeah, good luck. Good luck proving that. No chance. It's like it's in a book. It's a published book. They asked him for it. Everybody else submitted to this very public book, or not very public book, but this book that's now very public. Are you guys out of your minds? You just can't tell me it's not a cult.
The deputy White House chief of staff said, quote, "It's not his signature." And of course, when you look at the signature, you can judge for yourself. There's a lot of examples of the president from that same era of when this birthday book was compiled, signing his name in a similar style, like this 1996 letter to then New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani.
Okay, are those similar? Here's the one to Rudy over here on the right. Here's the one, by the way, Trump doesn't sign his name like this either. So they also had the foresight to use that signature, right? It's not the signature he uses anywhere else. And you have when's this dated? From Rudy. I don't know. Those signatures look similar to you? Look pretty goddamn similar to me.
Or this 1995 letter to a member of a local Palm Beach commission.
It looks pretty similar. Now, you'll note that all three signatures look slightly different because that's how signatures work sometimes. And depending on the type of pen or for some reason marker that you use, he seems to always use markers. I don't know why he does that. Also, these aren't letters. I'm somebody who doesn't have letters in my signature. It doesn't look like letters. But this doesn't do a lot for the fact that he can barely read, and that people claim that he's borderline illiterate. This isn't helping.
There's also that 1999 letter to the legendary CNN host Larry King that you see here.
Now, if you had got this signature on the drawing, I would say this didn't look like Donald Trump's signature. You'd have a better argument. But this looks like most of them. This one looks a little bit different. This would be the one out of all of them that I would say that's clearly the one that's different. And nobody's saying that that one's fake.
And a 1984 letter to the executive editor of the New York Times. There's even an inscription in a Trump book that Epstein owned from 19...
Oh. What? To Jeff, you are the greatest. Donald, with the same fucking signature. Why did Donald personally inscribe a book for Jeffrey Epstein and personally draw a picture and write the weirdest poem ever for his book? They weren't friends. Those the different secrets they're talking about. They're talking about like secret passwords that they use for their club.
1997 that the New York Times recently published. Those are the signatures there. Of course, this is the one the White House is denying is the president's tonight.
Look, the drawing. Somebody said I'm not sure what's up with what's wrong with the drawing. I think on its face maybe nothing, but when you look at I'll pull it up. When you look at who we're dealing with here, and then you read the language of the drawing, it makes a little more sense. Let me pull this up. It says it's voiceover. I don't know why it says that either. Again, like if they were gonna do this, if they were gonna fake this, like they wouldn't fake it like this. This is so bizarre. You wouldn't fake it like this. If you were going to fake it, you'd be like, you'd write it out in sentences. You'd use like language that Donald Trump uses. This would be a silly fake. Incredibly silly for a fake. Voiceover. There must be more to life than having everything. Donald. Yes, there is, but I won't tell you what it is. Jeffrey. Nor will I, since I know what it is. Donald. We have certain things in common, Jeffrey. Jeffrey. Yes, we do, come to think of it. Donald. Enigmas never age. Have you noticed that? Jeffrey, as a matter of fact, it was clear to me the last time I saw you. Donald, a pal is a wonderful thing. Happy birthday. And may every day be another wonderful secret. Yeah, when you realize who he's writing this letter to, then it becomes weird. Also, just want to point out, very high boobs. I'm almost 40. I've had sex with people that are near my age. Usually not that high. It's not usually the height where that's not usually where you would put the boobs on a adult woman. Right? So there's a lot of this that's alarming. A lot of it. When you know who this is written to, first of all, it's weird anyways. No matter who this is to, this is fucking weird. But knowing who it's to makes it worse. And now Trump's saying, instead of Trump saying like, I was just his friend, I wrote this, it was an inside joke. Instead, he's just telling you it's fake. He's not coming up with a different excuse. And I'm tired of you Republicans doing this shit for Trump, doing all the legwork for Trump. Every time there's something that comes out about Donald Trump, he says what he tells you his side of it, and you guys all make up like all these other things. Because his answer's never good enough for you, but you're never going to abandon him because it's a fucking cult. And so you just like make up new excuses for him. What was it the other day? Oh, it was about Virginia Guthrie. And you guys have been running for years with this story that Donald Trump kicked Epstein out because he like hit on somebody's daughter. And it turns out Epstein, who Trump knew, said specifically was like running, according to Michael Wolff at least, was running a, quote, whorehouse. Donald Trump let the first one slide. And this is from his mouth. Jeffrey took one of the underage girls from my club. I don't know why you had underage girls working in your spa in the first place, Donald Trump. I also don't know why you had a modeling agency with underage girls. I don't know why you were hosting fashion shows with underage girls, filled with men while you sat on the front row and judged underage girls' body and their fashion. I don't know why you did any of this shit. All of it's fucking weird. But when Jeffrey Epstein stole one of the girls from your spa, you said, hey, Jeff, don't do it again. And then he did it again. And then you were like, all right, that's it. We're not friends anymore. And then 7 years later, you took him off the rolls of your club after it was exposed who he was. And Jeffrey Epstein says, Donald was mad at me because of this real estate deal, which we covered yesterday, where Epstein bid like 32 million, and then Trump came in at 41 million, despite the fact that he was broke and nobody could figure out where he got that money. And the money came from a Russian oligarch, which again, you guys aren't going to accept that. You're not going to accept that for some reason this Russian oligarch backed Donald Trump, funded the purchase of this property, only to buy it back from Trump after 5 years for $96 million. He bought it for $41 million, and he bought it back from Trump for $96 million. In no way does that ever make any sense. But you all run with these stories, and Donald Trump tells you the truth. You won't even believe it when he tells you the truth. When the truth is so obvious that he's a criminal, you're like, I'm not going to believe that part. I'm going to make up a new explanation for what happened. Donald Trump said this didn't exist. Now it exists. Now he's changing his story, and he's saying that that's not his signature. And everybody else is comparing signatures from around this time, and they look fucking identical. So why did he change his story, MAGA? Why do we have a new story here? Why did it not exist and now it exists? And he's no longer saying it doesn't exist. He's saying, oh, somebody faked my signature. How come when this was released the first time, he didn't say somebody faked my signature? Why did he go with this is fake? Why would he have a new answer now? Because it came out. And I don't think he thought it was going to come out. I think they thought that they could get Ghislaine Maxwell. Because, by the way, this book was owned by the Epstein estate. And I think Trump thought that Mike Johnson could stop this from coming out. What he didn't count on is oversight Dems and a handful of oversight Republicans saying, fuck that, we're getting it, and subpoenaing this from the Epstein estate. Remember, they tried to kill this vote. Before they went on summer break, in the oversight committee, it was, I think it was oversight. It was Chip Roy, I think, was handling the meeting. And they called for a vote, and he gavelled it. He gavelled the meeting closed. He said, we're done. We're in recess now until we return. And he left the room. And basically, everybody came to him like, sorry, dude, you can't do it. It's within the rules. You can't just end it like that. You're going to have to take this vote. You're going to have to walk back to that seat. You're going to have to sit down, and you're going to have to take that vote because in the oversight committee, like once it's been called for, you can't end. So he went back in, gavelled back in. They called for the vote. And a couple of Republicans stood with Democrats and subpoenaed this evidence. So you explain to me now, Donald Trump says it's fake, but then also tries to force the Republicans to cover it up. Chip Roy tries to cover it up. Mike Johnson tries to cover it up. Through parliamentary procedure, Democrats pull a fast one and work with a couple of Republicans who at the time, Republicans are like, Donald's not going to be on this. Like, this is bullshit. And so they just pushed for it. And now we have it. And now it's a whole new story. Now it's it's actually about the signature. We had the picture then too. So why don't you talk about the signature then? Why'd you call it fake? It's important to remember that Donald Trump is fucking stupid. And that Donald Trump doesn't really think things through. But he's made it through his entire life. He just lies. Every time something changes, he changes his story and he lies. And you guys go along right with it. Let me play one more video, then Jen, you can do announcements. I just want to show Eric Trump here. Because again, this isn't evidence. I don't know why you guys think this is good enough evidence.
But I mean, listen, they've tried everything. It's no different than the Russian hoax. I mean, listen, the New York Times...
I agree. And it's no different than the Russian hoax in that Russians absolutely worked with the Trump campaign in the 2016 election, and it was proven. And this appears that Trump did drive it. So in the way that, like, it's true and you guys are lying about it, it is no different.
Same people who are going to, by the way, try and do everything they can to keep me from becoming the #1 best.
We've lost to him 2 to 3 times. Who's the stupid ones? Brian, I got news for you. It's you. It's you. And it's the people like you. I don't know how to tell you this. A majority of people who voted in this last election are kind of dumb. You're unaware that this man is a serial dumb person. He sucks. He just scares you. He just tells you that he's going to fix all your problems, and he never does. It's you. You didn't learn your lesson the first time. You didn't notice when he worked with Russia in our elections because he just told you didn't. You're the dumb one. You didn't check this out. You're going to listen to Eric. You're going to listen to Eric Trump right now, and Eric Trump's going to say, this is like that last hoax. Well, the last one wasn't a hoax, bud. And you didn't figure that out. So yeah. It's not it's not a good argument for you to be like, well, the dumb guy won. That's an indictment on America. That things that are absolutely true. People pled guilty to these crimes. Inside, Trump's campaign manager pled guilty to these crimes. And you guys still go, it was a hoax. Excuse me? Why did he plead guilty? What happened there? He just pled guilty for the... Michael Flynn pled guilty. Just cuz? Oh, they were kind of tired that day. They didn't really want to deal with everybody's bullshit again. So they just pled guilty. It wasn't a Russian hoax. And you're the dumb ones. It's why you don't know that he's dumb. I'll restart this clip. I do want to say one more thing about this guy.
But I mean,
I forget his name. It might be Eric. I forget this host's name. But he bumped me one time from his show for Don Jr. And I'll never forgive him.
but I mean, listen, they've tried everything. It's no different than the Russian hoax. I mean, listen, the New York Times, the same people who are going to, by the way, try and do everything they can to keep me from becoming the #1 bestseller, you better believe, they were the ones that got Pulitzer Prizes for writing about the Russia hoax, something that was untrue.
True, actually. He meant true.
And they didn't even give back the prizes, right? I mean, this is a level of dementia in the mainstream media. And there's
Wait, I got to show you something here real quick because what Eric's saying is not that important. Watch, this is obviously a fake laugh, but watch him like, he might be a robot. Again, this is not helping my simulation theory. Like, he's going to go from fake laugh to like dead face. I need you to watch him.
in the mainstream media, and there's so few people. I mean, you literally have Carl Higbie and about 3 others that get it right every night, and the rest of them. But you know, Carl, people don't buy it anymore. You know, people no longer trust the mainstream media. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about everybody else, and it's why, despite having negative 98% media coverage, my father can still win the pop.
Negative 98 media per what? What? Hey, bad news, guys. Being dumb's genetic.
Popular vote. He can still win every single swing state, and the guy is ultimately back in the most powerful office in the world, doing an incredible job, making us all very proud.
Yeah, because there's a lot of dumb people who believe dumb shit, including Carl Higbie. Fuck you, Carl Higbie, for bumping me for your show so that you could play patty cake with Don Jr. I'll never forgive you. All right, Jen, you want to do your announcements real quick? I'll read if some of these Venmos that came in. Jumar said, if you can play the Sex Panther scene from Anchorman. I can't. I want to. Oh, Jen wants me to do the announcements. I'll do them. Brad said, the way every day feels, my brain has too many tabs open, and I think at least 3 of them are frozen. Yeah, that's true in my brain and on my computer most of the time. What's this? Somebody made this. Yeah, that I just want you guys to know that's exactly what I look like with my shirt off. Don't ask questions. It's 100% what I look like. I am absolutely shredded. Just so you know. Don't ask for proof of that.
That's why you wear hoodies all the time.
That's right. That's right.
So no one can know the truth.
I don't want you guys. I don't want you guys seeing that, and I don't want people just looking at me as like eye candy. You know, I want people to take me seriously.
I guess. I mean, I can see that. That makes sense. I had some of that happen to me not too long ago, so I understand your pain.
Wait, what? What happened to you not so long ago?
No, remember when I went live on camera?
Oh, and you got objectified? I do remember that. Yeah.
That was
okay.
That was
talking about
the
now.
The thirst was real. Did you read Estelle's Venmo? I don't remember hearing.
Did you ever show the video you're invited to MAGA Ballroom 2028 AI? I don't think so. I'll look for that while Jen's plugging announcements.
So we are more than
updating
halfway through. Huh?
I'm updating the number there.
Oh, okay.
Now it's updated.
Okay. So we've got about an hour and a half or so left, a little more than an hour and a half left of the show. So we are crowdfunded. So how that works is we receive donations from the people who watch us. So Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Super Chats, all go towards knocking out that balance, which is the top left-hand corner. Currently, it's a 258. We could do better. We could be a lot further along. I know that. I have faith in everybody. You guys don't typically disappoint me, but it does happen on occasion. So.
Oh, sorry. the video started playing. Go ahead.
Oh, I can't hear it.
Yeah, I forget.
So that's fine. Anyways, so yeah, we need to knock out that balance so that we can keep the lights on and doing this each day. If you guys disagree with RTP, I've seen a lot of people, especially on YouTube, that have a lot to say in the chat, but I've tagged a few of you if you'd like to come up and talk to them in real time. How you do that is the Venmo username is my Discord. So if you want to DM me on Discord, I can bring you up to talk to Jay in real time. You don't have to talk shit in the comments, and we'll answer your questions if you have any. He's not avoiding you. There's just between 700 to 1,000 people over there, and so he's likely not seeing them. So if you want to have that,
or I'm ignoring you. It could be ignoring you too. Depends.
That too. True. That's fair. That's fair. But so yeah, that's how you come on if you want to have a conversation. If you're opposition, check out the link here in the bio. We're on most social media platforms. We've got merch, Jay's on Cameo, and all these episodes are uploaded to Spotify. Oh, that was another thing I want to bring up. So we are trying to get to the partner program with Spotify. So we need to get 2,000 unique viewers to go on and view one of our Spotify episodes. If you guys have not gone and watched, and you don't have to watch the whole thing, just go and turn it on our Spotify. That would help us out a lot. It is in the link tree in the bio. I'll tag it in the Discord also so you guys can see it. We need to get to 2,000 unique viewers for Spotify. If you guys could help us out with that, that would be awesome. Yeah, so I think I said Jay's on Cameo. So if you have you had any more recent Cameo?
We need to talk about that offline because
okay.
Yeah, remind me after. I'll tell you about it.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Also, real quick, W for Peacemaker, Mars Alien, UA Dolphin, Lisa Michelle, and Samurai Optimus over on TikTok for being the top gifters. Appreciate you guys.
Dope. So what did Earth say to other planets?
I don't know.
You guys have no life.
That's not nice. That's not nice. Earth is a bully. Lee said whataboutism is all they have. At this point, yeah, it's just whataboutism. And it really is like truly just a distraction now at this point. I want to go back to some of the, let's see. I want to just go back to Ellie. I think it's Ellie Honig. It might be Eli. Used to be a former prosecutor for the Southern District of New York. Trump now is saying, well, Trump, when this letter came out, Trump sued, I want to say it was New York Times, I can't remember. And you had Mike Johnson allude to it, that Trump was going to sue these companies. The problem is now that the letter's out there, if Trump wants to sue these companies, he's going to have to be deposed. So I don't think I think he's going to drop all these lawsuits. Otherwise, he's going to have to testify under oath, which we all know that's not happening.
I don't know. The signature looks pretty close to Donald Trump's signature, if not exactly like Donald Trump's signature, and maybe not the ones in the pictures that Taylor Budovich tweeted out. But here's one from an executive order President Trump did in a letter in 2015. I mean, it's pretty identical. Is this going to make Trump's defamation case against News Corp more difficult?
It's going to be way more difficult, Jake, now, because if you look at Donald Trump's actual complaint here, his lawsuit, he alleges first that the letter is, and I quote, non-existent. Well, now we know that's off the table. The letter certainly does exist. And now Trump's going to have to make a fallback argument that we're hearing that, well, maybe this is not his signature. But again, if you look back at the Wall Street Journal, they hedged on that. The original article by the Wall Street Journal does not say definitively this is his signature. In fact, the article actually says the circumstances around the creation of the letter are unclear. So Trump has to prove A, that the reporting was false, B, that it was knowingly or recklessly false. And I think this was a long shot to begin with, and I think the appearance of this letter has made it even longer of a shot.
But what do you think is going to happen next? Will News Corp try to get the case thrown out since the public has now seen this image that Trump allegedly signed from the Epstein estate, from the actual birthday book? I mean, I don't know what the Journal reported that isn't proven today.
Absolutely. So the next move you will see will be from the Wall Street Journal. The defendants, they will make a motion to dismiss. This new development will certainly feature in that they will argue A, nothing was false, and B, nothing was knowingly or recklessly false. And that's a really important moment in the case, Jake, because if this case gets dismissed, then of course it's over. But if not, that may not be great news for Trump either, because that means we move into discovery, and that will include under oath depositions of Wall Street Journal personnel, potentially up to and including Rupert Murdoch, but definitely of the plaintiff, Donald Trump. So if this does not get dismissed, we're going to see Donald Trump questioned under oath about this letter, about his relationship with Jeffrey.
That's great. Why run it as news? Why run it as news if it can't be proven? Because it's news, right? Like this is how this works. You're not guilty. Somebody pointing out that something exists is newsworthy. If he's the guilty part, that's the court of law. Like I don't know if you know what the news is, but if we're gonna say that you have to be factual in order to like publicly say something, we're gonna have a field day with Trump. He's gonna have a lot of problems. That dude only speaks about things that aren't true. All right, here's this AI generated. You're invited to the MAGA ballroom 2028. I don't remember who sent this, but let's take a look.
Shoppers' prices have increased. Everyone loves us. They made us great.
We didn't deport them, we erased them.
We made America great.
This guy should. That's pretty good. This guy should be watching and hearing legal experts. CNN spins. Unless there is a legal handwriting expert available, it's still no there. Hey, dipshit, that was a prosecutor from the Southern District of New York. Yeah, I like this is MAGA brain for you. Like, I see CNN and now I don't pay attention to anything else that was said. I didn't listen to the video, and I didn't listen when RTP said that this was a prosecutor from the Southern District of New York, which would be a legal expert, dipshit. You know what I mean? Like, no matter what, it wouldn't matter. You could literally have somebody that's like, here's a video. I filmed Donald Trump drawing this, and you'd be like, how do we know that that's not AI generated? How do you know that that person didn't vote for Hillary? There's no end to like what you guys will try and throw away because you're in a fucking cult. Because you don't hold the same standards for Trump that you hold for anybody else. Every other human being on earth would be held to this standard by normal people, but you're not normal people. You're fucking insane. Your entire personality is this fucking guy. Just a fucking guy that you don't know. You have no fucking idea. How would you know? How would you know that he didn't abuse children? How would you know that? You wouldn't, right? So wouldn't you want to know? If there's accusations, wouldn't you want to see all the evidence? Yep. The reason that we only have this letter is because your guy is blocking the release of all of this evidence. If you want to see it in totality, then maybe talk to your guy. But maybe also think about why he's dripping it to you. Where's the part of you that self-reflects that says, why is this guy hiding all this shit from me? Because he's so innocent? Yeah, that's usually what innocent people do. Historically speaking, when there's somebody that's innocent, the public's always like, oh, yeah, he's innocent, so it's okay that he hides information. I mean, I don't, you know that you're wrong. You know that you don't hold this standard for fucking anybody else. You guys were all ready to bury Joe Biden. $0 and 0 cents came back to Joe Biden through Hunter Biden, and most of you were like, he's guilty. He should be thrown in jail. The Biden crime family. No evidence at all. You didn't even have this. None. But Donald Trump, there's evidence everywhere. There's Katie Johnson, who accused Donald Trump of sexually abusing her. Well, I don't listen to that. You have 30 plus women who have accused Donald Trump of sexually abusing them. Oh, I don't care about that. It's gone. The only time it went to court, he lost easily. Oh, I don't care about that. There is no amount of evidence that will do for you because you're in a fucking cult. And coming out of a cult, I can tell you, the way you guys treat Donald Trump is the same way I treated Joseph Smith. It's the same way that Catholics treat their leaders when they just cover up sexual abuse. It's an ideology. It's a cult. Their reputation matters more than the truth. And so you're willing to lie for them in hopes that someday your gut feeling that they're actually not guilty will be proven correct. Every time Donald Trump has gone to court since he's been president, he has lost. Every time. He's guilty every time. There's not a single claim that was made against him that hasn't been proven to be true. Did his campaign collude with Russia? Yup. Did Donald Trump try and hold congressionally appropriated funds over Zelensky's head to get political dirt on his opponent? Yep. Both times impeached. Both times the evidence backed it up. Or actually, the first time he wasn't impeached. For Russia, he wasn't impeached. It was only for the Zelensky one. This dude is guilty every time, and every time he gets found guilty, you all go, yeah, the fact that people found him guilty is further proof that he's innocent. There is zero difference between your cult and the Branch Davidians and the way they treated David Koresh. Like, one of the saddest things, I think I've shared this story before, is like watching one of these documentaries on the Branch Davidians, which is the group of people who were in Waco, Texas, and ATF and the FBI came in and they had a firefight, and then the building burned down and like almost everybody died. The most devastating part was there were some people that got out of the building while it was burning. And 20 years later, with hindsight and with being able to see that nothing David Koresh said was going to happen happened, he was wrong about every prophecy. It was crazy to watch them in their 70s going, I still believe that David Koresh was a prophet. I still believe he was like the reincarnation of Jesus Christ. It's like, all right. Like, you guys, you lost everybody. Everything's been proven not to be true. None of his prophecies came true. But like, you just don't want to admit to yourself that you got duped. And that's the problem that we have with MAGA right now. You are unwilling to admit it to yourselves. And I get it. It's hard because you went hard for this dude. You went all in for this dude. You wore his gear. You repeat his dumbass talking points. You didn't care when they stole America first from the American Nazis. The first group in America to use the slogan "America First" was like the American Nazis. You didn't care about that. You didn't care about the "Make America Great Again" thing that he stole. You didn't care that he never built a wall and Mexico was never going to pay for it. You don't care that like that other countries don't pay tariffs. You don't care about any of this. You've just decided that Donald Trump is the one. He's everything. He's the leader. He is your entire party now. And so because you don't have anything, like you don't have any policy, there's no ideology, there's no track record of success. It's just Donald Trump. And you know as well as I do that if you have a MAGA family or if you run in MAGA circles, if the town that you live in is MAGA, if the Facebook groups that you're in or the Discord groups that you're in are MAGA, you know goddamn well that if you even say one thing negative about Donald Trump, you are going to be met with a lot of pushback. And if you say multiple negative things about Donald Trump, you're going to be canceled by MAGA. You all know that, whether they're true or not. And that's why we say it's a cult. All the proof that Donald Trump didn't write this letter is people saying, Donald told me. Eric's proof is, my dad would never draw that. But I've got a dad. I have no idea what my dad has drawn in his life. If somebody showed me a picture and they were like, your dad drew that, I'd be like, all right, maybe. I don't know. How would I know what my dad's drawings look like? They all say he doesn't draw. And there's only a few examples of him drawing. So obviously it wasn't like a prominent thing. But that's the evidence. The evidence for Mike Johnson was Trump told me that was no way. And then the other set of evidence is Eric going, my dad wouldn't do that. That's it. And that's good enough for you guys. All right, I want to show you this. I came across this video. This has been on our outline for so long, for weeks, and we never get to it. And today we're finally going to get to it. I want to show you this mechanical engineer talking about AI. Total change of gears here.
Today I learned that a 1 gigawatt center on peak day can raise the ambient air temperature 23 degrees up to 1 mile above the data center. That's crazy. I am just starting to really comprehend the scale of these data centers, and the reason why they need all these data centers is because of AI. You need a lot of server racks, server systems, all that. stuff. But as a mechanical engineer, I like to think about the boring things behind the scenes. Like when you have these data centers, you need a lot of cooling. You either need water or you need power. So if you're not using water, you're putting a lot of strain on the grid to get power to cool these data centers, these server racks. It's just crazy the impact that this AI boom is having and what we're really going to see in the next lifetime. I'm just blows my mind.
Now, we are hardly the only country that is doing AI on a massive scale. Obviously, China's doing it. India's doing it. And what they're doing is they are building out infrastructure for renewable energy, because this amount of power that it takes for these data centers is enormous. And so why would you not choose an energy that is renewable and that you don't have to pay for every time? That's what everybody else is doing, but not in America, where apparently our president and the entire Republican Party is owned by oil companies. And the oil companies want to make sure that we don't have an AI revolution without them making record profits from it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do natural gas. We're going to do coal. We're going to do oil. That's what we're going to do here. We're going to do really dirty, non-renewable energy to make our AI more expensive. Just so you know, like in any business, you're trying to reduce input costs wherever you can, right? That's especially with you capitalists. Wouldn't you want to reduce input costs? Can you explain to me, Republicans here, why if our goal is to lead the world in AI, why we would choose an energy source that is not renewable, and so we have to pay for it repeatedly? Why would we choose the most expensive way? Why are we not doing everything in our power not to reduce input costs? Is there any good reason for that other than these oil executives and coal executives and natural gas executives all want a piece of this and they don't want their businesses to go away? Is there any other answer for that? I'm looking in the chat here. I don't know if you have like a different answer for that. I was in a live where a guy used Trump as his source. Crazy. I don't know. Renewables 41% cheaper. What energy source are you talking about? Solar. Yeah, let's make America great again. Solar. That's what China and India, Japan, that's what they're all doing. They're all building out massive infrastructure for solar. Make America great again was America first was a Nazi slogan, Kevin. Make America great again was Nixon, which is far right at the very least. Like make America great again was a far right talking point. And I know that for not for everybody, like let's just say you're a normal, not racist MAGA supporter. Okay. Let's just say that you're just a normal human being and you don't hate people based on their race. And you say, make America great again. And to you, what you're saying is like, well, first of all, I don't know what you're saying because I don't know when you're trying to go back to when America was great. So whatever time period you're looking at, that might be what make America great again means to you. But to the people on the far right of your party, it absolutely means make America white again. So like, even if it's not you, there's people in your party that's what that slogan means to them, right? And that's what that slogan meant for a long time. Make America great again has been a slogan used by white nationalists for decades in this country. I'm just, and again, like, I understand saying that you can say make America great again without being a white nationalist, but like if I had a slogan that had been co-opted for white nationalists, I'd choose another slogan. I'd pick something else. If I knew that America first was born out of American Nazis, I would choose a different slogan. I would say putting Americans as a top priority or putting Americans first. I would change the wording somehow. I wouldn't use word for word. But there's like if you have to be honest about this, you have to be honest about who pushed these. It's Steve Bannon, it's Stephen Miller, it's Roger Stone. What they understood, take their own thoughts out of this. What they understood is MAGA does need white nationalists to win elections. You guys do need the far right. You have to have the white nationalists and the Nazis on your side to win elections. So if you choose a slogan like that makes the alt-right love you and gives everybody else plausible deniability and then they just deflect that. They're like, oh, the media is hysterical. That's not what I mean. Yeah, we were talking about somebody else. That's how he did this. That's how he does it all the time. I've said Nazi too many times probably for TikTok. They do it on purpose. All these, that's what dog whistles are. It's something that, like, the white nationalists, if you're not a racist, it doesn't register to you. But to a racist, it registers. And if they're not trying to speak to the racist, then they would use different language. Or you have to accept what I'm saying, that, like, Donald Trump is an idiot and he's in charge. I don't think Donald Trump's in charge of the messaging. In fact, there is documented examples over and over of people giving credit to most of this to, like, Roger Stone and Steve Bannon and Stephen Miller. These are mostly their ideas, like the messaging stuff. So just so you know, like, that's what we're talking about. If you say "Make America Great Again" and you don't mean anything about anybody's race, then yeah, they're not talking about you. But you also have to understand that there's somebody that puts on that hat as a way to say, like, "Make America White Again." There are people like that, and they've co-opted your messaging. I would just change my messaging. You stole it from them in the first place. It's not like it was original and somebody co-opted it. It was already being used by white nationalists, and you chose to use it. America First was already used by American Nazis, and you chose to use it. So what is it? Are they incompetent and they didn't know the history of the United States? Or were they dog whistling to the alt-right and giving you plausible deniability? And do you like being in a party that is dog whistling to the alt-right? I can say, like, as I'm a registered Republican, I'll probably never be a registered Democrat. But if I was a registered Democrat, what are you going to show me? What's the dog whistle that you would show me that Democrats are using to, like, bring in the fringe left, the violent left? Whoever that is, I don't know who that would be. Maybe got some, like, communists, some, like, violent communists, I guess, anarchists. Doesn't exist over there. All right. This happened in Arizona. Is Reggie here? Because this is in Reggie's neck of the woods. This isn't even the full video. How much time do we have? 11:44. I'm going to show the whole thing. I think. Let me see how long it is. Go to YouTube. See how long the original is. It's so good. What's it called? Yeah, it's 11 minutes. We'll show the whole thing. All right, let me pull this up.
Tucson just became the first city to reject a massive data center proposal. And it only happened because of a huge community uprising.
The people who are paid to represent us are falling down on the job and just completely betraying us.
We are in a desert. We are in a 30-year drought. The map doesn't add up.
I have zero trust of whatever these people are telling us. They're saying they're going to...
I'm going to try not to cut this out too much. It's 11 minutes. Just make sure, if you can, help us out with our gift goal while this is going. This is really important stuff. And if you're a Republican, just know that your state is being targeted because of low taxes and Republicans' like propensity to just ignore the devastating effects of some of these projects and what it might do to their constituencies, and just seeing dollar signs. If you live in rural America right now, especially in a red state, just know that Amazon, Tesla, Apple, Facebook, they're all going to come to your town and they're going to beg for tax subsidies, and they're going to fuck you up. They're going to fuck you up. And the people in Arizona, down near Tucson, they realized that they were about to be fucked up by Amazon, and they won this battle. But this battle's pretty wild.
Reclaim water. They can't make water out of nothing. Can they make it rain? Maybe they can. I don't know.
I was on the ground to cover it day by day. I talked to residents, lawmakers, and lobbyists to tell the full David versus Goliath story of how one community took on Amazon and won. Let's dig into it. First, we have to rewind to day one when I landed in Tucson on a Monday afternoon.
It started with a town hall meeting. These sessions are really propaganda sessions for the corporation. It's all just been people from the corporation, from Tucson Electric Power, and from Tucson Water to make the case to the public for why this is a good idea.
I felt like 1.25 is a little too fast.
Session, some in the audience stood up to ask tough questions of the city and the company behind the project, Beale Infrastructure, a San Francisco-based corporation backed by Blue Owl. a $30 billion investment firm listed on the New York Stock Exchange. Upon completion, it would have had power capacity of 600 megawatts. That's enough to power every home in the city of Tucson. The corporation is trying to secure a deal requiring the city to annex the land the data centers would sit on, allowing them to procure the massive amounts of water directly from Tucson Water.
The water and electricity requirements will increase by maybe double over the next 5 years. Are we
thanks, Amelia and Rory, for joining the Dollar Train. Guys, while this is going, this is a good time to do like a Dollar Train run. Let's do a Dollar Train. We got 11 minutes here. We can knock out that goal in no time.
prepared for that?
I can only speak for what's in the development agreement for the water portion, because the water is in the development agreement. All of the water infrastructure and maintenance and then upgrades will be paid for through the water rates, which will be assessed by Tucson Water.
We already have water problems in Arizona. We're already short on water. They need water to cool these data centers. And the reason that they're booing there is they're saying that the water is going to be controlled by the rates. So basic supply and demand, what's going to happen when this massive data center starts eating up 20, 30% of their water? Their rates are going to go up. That's why they're booing. And what's the benefit to them? The benefit to them is maybe some jobs. That's it. Just maybe some jobs. But most people in Tucson aren't going to benefit from this. Thanks, Trudy.
You are asking us to trust Christina with our water when she worked on Meta's data center team for the last 6 years while they were bleeding Georgia dry.
By no means am I asking anybody, even the mayor and council, to
Devin.
just trust the word of Beal or even staff on this project.
Deals are for rich people and big companies to make a lot of money. I'm a Native American, so I've seen this many times before.
We are so mad and we are so angry and tired.
Right.
We're here to hear you.
There's a difference between just hearing and listening.
Yes.
The way the data center...
By the way, you know, these type of revolts, these type of uprisings, they're not happening everywhere else because everybody, like when China and Japan and India, when they're investing in AI and they're investing in renewable energy, they also have more access to water. What these companies are doing, like Facebook and Amazon, is they're going to Republican states because they know they're going to get like really good tax benefits. And they're going to places like Arizona where we don't have water. And they're not going to do anything about renewable energy. It'd be one thing, like what if they came in and they said, look, we do have to use some water, but we're gonna build this solar farm here, and we're gonna generate all of the power on our own. We're gonna create our own power. Maybe then you might have an argument, but they're gonna raise the price of power in the area and the rates of water. So why? So I think it's like a couple hundred jobs is all.
Developers went about the project was deeply troubling to many people here. Beal Infrastructure worked behind the scenes with Pima County's Board of Supervisors to try and secretly approve the sale and rezoning of county-owned land for a secret big tech client.
For anybody who hasn't been to Arizona, this is what our fucking state looks like. You see why we have a problem with water? There's no water here. This used to just be like the bottom of a giant lake, or I guess sea. There's no water here, and it's like 150 degrees. We don't have water for this.
That was until journalists from the Arizona Luminaria got their hands on some documents, which led us to our second stop, to talk to one of the reporters who got the scoop.
We found out through a document that was included in a public information request. We were able to report that the end user of Project Blue was Amazon Web Services.
If lawmakers welcoming data centers claim it's good for the community, why was this project so shrouded in secrecy?
That's been a big question that I think organizers are asking.
I walk pretty slow anyway.
Victoria just moved into this new house with her husband, just a few miles from Project Blue's proposed construction site.
Our concern is obviously that this data center and the high water use will further deplete the water table, and that this and other wells around here will go dry as a result.
She's deeply worried about the potential water usage in an area prone to droughts.
Let's see. Draco said there's warehouses on either side of Luke Air Force Base. I was driving south on Litchfield and saw Tesla in one of those south side of the base. Great. Purple Kitty Kelly says free Palestine. And Dragon Wizard, I didn't know you were down there in Tucson. Shout out Tucson. Good job.
If you knew that a data center could be built near here,
I would have looked elsewhere.
you wouldn't have bought this house.
No, I think it's just more corporate greed and big companies thinking they can do whatever they want.
This is the site for the proposed 290-acre data center facility that the company wants to develop here in Tucson. But it currently sits just outside city limits, which is why the company needs the mayor and the city council to sign off and approve an annexation of the land so it can tap into the city's water supply. Project Blue would require an 18-mile pipeline to be built connecting the project site to Tucson water. We wanted to ask an independent water policy expert about this idea, the kind of voice that many in the audience at the town hall wished they got the chance to hear from. So we met up with water policy expert Andrea Gerlach, a professor at the University of Arizona.
Is there enough water?
It's interesting that none of these people were consulted. It was just like the city council. They literally just saw dollar signs and they're like, yeah, bring it. Yeah, dollar signs. We're Republicans. That's all we fucking care about. I hope you're not in here to talk to us about kids or like the climate or like clean drinking water or rising energy bills, because we don't give a fuck about that. But as long as we see dollar signs here, that's good enough for us. And by the way, all these dollar signs they see, they're like projections. They don't even check to see like what the financial impact is going to be. They see this will bring in $100,000 or $100 million to your economy. Oh, that sounds good. How? Is it going to stay in the local economy, or is that just like the revenue? Is it going to stay there? It's just going to provide jobs. How many jobs? Is it worth how much of a subsidy we're giving you?
Are given cuts that are sure to happen on the Colorado River.
Thanks,
it's a hard
and
question.
Bender.
Is it enough? And what you think the value is. We just have to decide of all those users what's most important.
The river did not always look like this. So this is some historic photos from 1889, just a little further up the road. And you can see how wide and sprawling the floodplain was. It was about a mile wide.
Angel is with Reconciliación al Río, an initiative focused on the ecological and social restoration along the Santa Cruz River.
Purple pipes, if you're in Tucson, you're familiar, it is reclaimed effluent water. When those of us hear that a data center could be using more than 6% of our annual water use, we have to ask, where would that water be better implemented?
We asked the developers from Beal Infrastructure for an interview through their PR rep. They responded that they are, quote, only responding to written questions now based on past biased media coverage and editorials in this community.
You told everybody what we were doing, and I don't like that. So now we only respond to written requests. That's capitalism for you, baby. The citizens are like, hey, will you talk to us? And they're like, no. We only talk to the city council. We only respond to written requests. Jen Star, thank you, said, choo choo, motherfuckers, hop on the train. Bad Religion said, sort of on topic, what are your thoughts on the dead internet theory? Watching the bots in your chat makes me think it's real. I'll have to revisit it. I don't remember what that is even. JJ said, thanks for all you guys do. And Amy said, Washington State has 132 data centers. They provide less than 9,000 jobs among them. That's not good. That's not good at all. It's like, what is that? Per data center, what is that?
Who's actually backing Project Blue? We met up with Pima County Board Supervisor Rex Scott, who cast the deciding vote back in June to sell the land to Beal Infrastructure.
It's a dry place, and water is a fight here.
Absolutely. That's a crazy thing. I don't know if they're fucking with it, but putting his pool in the background, that's a tough look for this guy. Water's real scarce, and this city councilman's like, yeah, I care about that a lot too. That's tough.
So why did he decide to back a project that so many people here think is a terrible idea?
I am not just enthused with the vote that I took, I'm proud of it.
This is a battle between tech billionaires and people, working class folks who want to protect their water. Do you see this as a fair fight?
I do, because we're talking about 1% of our total water portfolio, 6% of our reclaimed or recycled water.
Supervisor Scott says he doesn't think the people should be able to vote on this.
I don't think that in a representative democracy that you put everything to a public vote. I make decisions as a normal course of my responsibilities as a county supervisor.
These people don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Why are they upset that their bills are going to go up? They don't have a right in a representative democracy. They have to understand that what's best for this city is that we have a data center and they all have to pay for it. That's what we're saying here. Let me jump on a couple. I missed a bunch. Yaya, thank you. Tiger Lady says, thanks for all you guys do. Namasi, Denise, Annette, Jasani, last 50 days, I was doing. Thanks, Tina. Marcus and Jamie, all thank you for jumping on the dollar train. And did I miss any here? And Leslie also said, data centers are stressing the grids. APS is charging us for the upgrades. The Arizona Corporation Commission refusing to show what kind of tax cuts they are getting. Facts. Fuck APS.
The same can be said for council members.
Which brought us to City Hall. It's 112 degrees here, and we're at City Hall, and there's a line of people around the block who are here to oppose Project Blue. What made you come out to wait in line outside?
I think it's really dangerous that Amazon as a company is trying to come to Tucson to extract our resources.
Everything that we've heard so far has been from the company that's going to profit off of it.
I'm a Tucson native and I'm actually 7 months pregnant. So really for the future of our family.
Inside, city council members were in heated discussion about the project.
So we're moving on to item 8.
And then a motion to kill Project Blue came up for a vote.
Your Honor, I think we got to take the vote.
Let's vote. Item passes.
And just like that, in a surprise, unanimous decision, the project was dead, at least for now. The developers promised $250 million in tax revenue, 3,000 temporary construction jobs, and 180 permanent jobs. But their contract committed to only hiring 75 workers. But in the end, the community and the city council didn't think it was a good enough deal.
And this is pretty historic because this is really one of the largest rejections of a data center project across the country.
Listen, why not put the data centers by the ocean? I think you'd probably have to do some sort of, I don't know how these, I just know that salt water fucks things up. So you'd probably have to have some sort of desalination process. But the answer is because people want to live by the ocean. And so states where people are on the ocean oftentimes have higher taxes. Oftentimes. I also think like you'd have to be on the West Coast near the ocean because you don't want to, you know, if you want to avoid hurricanes, which we don't have on the West Coast. But the real reason these these data centers are going to all these impoverished areas is because they're desperate for money and they're taking advantage. And it is of no benefit. I haven't seen a single one of these. There's one in Nashville. They're making everybody sick in Nashville. The Tesla one or the the XAI that's in Nashville. It's making everybody around them sick. It has like crazy noise levels so people can't sleep, and it's costing everybody more for their power. And they went to an impoverished area where people already can't afford things. It's because they don't fucking care. Capitalists don't care about you. These billionaires don't care about you, and they own the Republicans. And so when they go to a Republican state, it's part of the ideology from Republicans that you get down on your knees and you absolutely suck the dick of anybody with $1 billion or more. And you look them dead in the eyes and you thank them for letting you suck their capitalist billionaire dick. And then when you go back to your constituents who can't afford their bills, you just tell them like, it's capitalism, baby. You don't know what you're talking about. It'll all work out in the end. Because all the Republican Party is at this point is this like facade of a buffer between the billionaires running the country and actually running the country. And like there used to be some pushback from Republicans, but not anymore. Now it's just like, oh, you guys can do whatever you want. It's fine. We're actually all fucking idiots. The best way to get elected in this country as a Republican is to be a fucking idiot who believes anything Donald Trump and his billionaire backers say, and then you get elected, and you could literally go up on stage. I mean this. Like where I live in this district, if a Republican was running and I was running, I could have every policy in the world. And the Republican running could stand on stage and say, hey, great news, guys. I am a fucking idiot, and I will do anything Donald Trump says. And they'd be like, you're in. And I would lose 70-30. I would get absolutely destroyed. That is the only thing that matters in the modern day Republican Party. Your subservience and your allegiance to Donald Trump and to the billionaire class. And if you have the audacity to be one of those pesky fucking farmers in Arkansas or Nebraska who are calling out Donald Trump right now, you're about to be alienated by the party because you are supposed to be on your knees thanking the billionaires for destroying your farm and building a data center instead. And you need to thank the oil companies and the coal companies and the natural gas companies for destroying the environment and making sure your air isn't clean. You need to thank them for that. Stop being so goddamn selfish and worrying about your family paying their bills. Stop worrying about your kids having food. Stop worrying about your kids' future. Knock that shit off. We got billionaires' dicks to suck.
What do you make of that?
So we're going through a process to define data centers and make sure that there's guardrails in place to protect the community from any sort of vulnerability like that.
For me, this is not an NIMBY issue. This is a matter of all of our communities, our cash-strapped municipalities aren't forced into situations where we are in a race to the bottom with each other, competing with each other for these terrible deals.
We, the human race, only get one shot at the AI revolution. We don't get to try things and see what works and then try again. If we screw this up, we're toast. But I would say that it might be a celebration at this point.
I have never seen community come together so quickly and so powerfully. And that is why we beat Amazon.
This is the highest profile example we've seen of a city rejecting a data center proposal of this scale. But even amid the celebration, some warned the fight was not over.
The executive orders that President Trump has passed are scary, really scary. In terms of the preemption.
He said there's one in, William said there's one in Mesa on Elliott and Ellsworth roads and another on Ironwood and Pecos. William, what are you talking about? Data centers? That is not far from where I live. That is close. I'm trying to think of where that, Elliott and Ellsworth. I mean, that's just that way a little bit. No, you can't tell which direction I'm pointing. I don't want to dox myself, but is it being built on Elliott and Ellsworth? I'll have to go look. There's like isn't that where there's like a quick trip right there?
Of local jurisdictions, funding withholding of local jurisdictions that pushes back on AI and data centers.
Nashville is Democrat run. The state is Republican run. But yeah, you're right. Those people acted like Republicans. You're right about that, Jeffrey. They just took the money and they didn't give a fuck about their constituents. Is Nashville run by Democrats?
Streamlining of environmental regulations. It doesn't stop here, folks.
As a long-term environmentalist, you never have a permanent victory. You always have to be vigilant.
We're not stopping our coverage of data centers here. I've been on the ground with More Perfect Union all across the country in the last few months. We've been to communities in Georgia, Tennessee, West Virginia, Texas, and more, speaking with working class Americans who are standing up to giant corporations like Meta, Google, XAI, and Amazon. The concerns might be different from community to community, but the common through line is that there's a massive rift happening right now between big tech and small towns. Is your town facing a crisis like this one? Send us a tip at stories@perfectunion.us.
I love More Perfect Union. I do a lot of like autoplay. Like if I'm out working out or if I'm out playing golf or hiking or whatever, I just let it autoplay and I get a lot of, I see a lot of this stuff or hear a lot of this stuff without seeing it. Incredible stuff. Highly recommend. If you're not subscribed to More Perfect Union on YouTube, I highly recommend it. Let's see. Nashville Metro City Council is officially nonpartisan, meaning its members do not run or serve with party affiliations listed on the ballot or council website, which while party affiliation is not disclosed, the council is generally considered to be Democratic leaning in the city, and Davidson County are Democratic strongholds. Okay, there you go. So Nashville, everybody was wrong, it turns out, on Nashville. They are, at least on paper, nonpartisan, but I would imagine that they probably lean more Democratic. Amy Lynn said, Mayor of Nashville has asked repeatedly to change laws to fight crime, and Republican governor says no. Did not know that. Yeah, you guys hit an absolute home run knocking out doing that dollar train. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. I don't want to hear it from you, Em. Playing golf now. I never get to play golf. I used to play golf every day. Before I had a kid and I had like a normal job, every day, at least 5 times a week. And now it's like it's once. And I know that this sounds like whiny, but it used to be like my life. So it feels like I never get to play, but I probably play more than anybody else. It's like it's my only hobby. It's my only vice. I don't do much outside of work. Be a dad and golf. All right, we showed this earlier, but how much time do we have? Oh, we got plenty of time. We're cruising. This was this morning. This is the flotilla, and it was hit by a drone.
We've been hit by what appears to be a drone. The vessel's on fire. There's a fire in the front deck.
So this is a Gaza aid boat, if you're not familiar with it, called the Freedom Flotilla. Greta Thunberg was on this, from my understanding, and other activists. They're just bringing humanitarian supplies. And for some reason, we needed to have a drone attack on this. You're only okay. Weed's another vice. I take that back. Weed is my other vice, but I do it while I golf. So, and every other day.
We've been hit. We have been hit. The vessel is on fire. We are off the coast of Tunis. It was a loud explosion. I was on the top deck. The police are arriving. Patty, it was a massive explosion.
You said there's a guy was playing with a flare gun and accidentally shot it off. There's a video, actually. Tanisha says that the official story from the news is no nonsense. Let me look that up.
Are we abandoning ship?
First of all, I've been live for hours. I don't think that was the story when I started. So I don't know if that's the story or not. Let's take a look.
It was a massive explosion. A massive, massive explosion. Just meters away, we've been hit by what appears to be a drone.
All right. I don't see any video from this. Didn't you guys have a link on? I don't necessarily. Man, I have a hard time with some of these. I mean, you guys tell me. I don't know what I'm seeing here. I'm not an expert on this stuff, but in slow motion here, we can take it. You'll see falling out of the sky like that. Is that what a flare looks like? I have no idea. And that looks like it's coming from above. So you're saying it's not somebody on the flotilla. It was a different, like somebody from a different boat, and they shot it straight up. Is that what the story is? No, not a flare. I don't know. I don't know this stuff. So you guys are gonna have to help me in the chat. Like maybe we can do some bipartisanship here. Google the footage from this has multiple. All right. So this is one saying that it wasn't a drone. It's drone fire, flare fire. I don't know. Let me look more. If you guys have links on this, I want to be careful with the. Okay, what I searched is a flare gun. All right, that's that same one. I don't know. I mean, it's bizarre. It's coming in at such a accelerated. I don't know. You guys got to tell me. I'm looking at just like the speed, which when this is hitting. Turn off the volume. Just the speed here. Would a flare ignite like this before it hits? Like would we have ignition like that before it hits the boat? Flares don't move that fast. I'm looking. I sent AI data center links in Discord. Okay, thanks, FOD. Appreciate that. I'll take a look at them. Only if the flare was shot from above directly. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like the speed that this is coming in, like that seems faster than like just falling. I don't know. See it in real time. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm open. I'm open to interpretation here. Who said that it was a? Who is saying it's a flare gun? I don't even know who. Where does flotilla caught fire because they don't know how to use a flare properly? Okay, so this is the. All right. I want to show. This is the every single one that I say that they say it was a flare and that it was like this is the one you're talking about from inside. I think they're saying like it looks like this person set off a flare. I mean, he looked up. What's that sound too? I mean, clearly looks up. I don't think that's him not knowing how to use a flare. Doesn't look like they were. Doesn't look. Sounds like a plane. I don't know what a drone sounds like. I don't know, guys. I want to be open-minded here. Contradicting Gaza flotilla's claim, Tunisia's National Guard says no drones detected. Blast caused internally. No, see, that's bullshit. Like, there's no way. We've watched it. That's what internally. No. Contradicting Gaza flotilla's claims, Tunisia's National Guard says no drones detected. Blast caused internally. No. That doesn't make any fucking sense with the video we're seeing there. That's not an internal blast. This is just, I mean, this is what it's like covering Trump every time. Something happens, the normal story goes out, the Trump folks go out and tell you that it's fake. I'm looking at all these. Yeah, nobody seems to have any good evidence that this is a flare. Everybody's just saying it's staged. Let me show you. I'll show you what I'm looking at here. Like, I don't know. I watched the drone strike video. It seems staged. These are the top posts here. Hit by their own flare. How are they coming up with hit by their own flare here? I don't think so, guys. I don't think so. You Zionists are desperate. Nobody should be surprised. Like last time the flotilla was there, they got arrested, kidnapped. This time they get hit by a flare. Maybe they shot a flare at them. Why would they why would they stage this? That doesn't make sense. If a flare, you would see light before you see it coming down. That's a good point too. Same type of flare that hit the so-called drug boat. All right. Well, here is here's what else. This was definitely not a flare. Here's Jeremy Scahill talking about the drone strike that we had in Doha today.
Significant developments.
I'll go 1.25 here.
We are tracking with regard to Israel and Gaza, and we are joined this morning, fortunately, by Jeremy Scahill, of course, co-founder of Drop Site News, alongside our own Ryan Grimm. Great to see you.
And for the Republicans here in the chat, did I not fact check for you? Was that not fair what I just did for you? Before you accuse me every day of being a fucking grifter who doesn't do my research. I tried to find what you were telling me, and we didn't find it.
Jeremy.
Good to see you, man. Good to be with you guys.
I wanted to start with these very nascent reports we're getting of some type of an explosion in Doha. There is some speculation it could have been at the Hamas offices there. So, Jeremy, what can we say about the possibility of what's going on here?
Well, without speculating on the particulars of it, because at this point we don't know anything factually other than there's reports of an explosion. Israel has made clear for decades that it's willing to assassinate Palestinian political figures, resistance leaders, etc. But in recent weeks, the chief of staff of the Israeli army said quite explicitly that if Hamas does not surrender, it's not only going to obliterate and annihilate all of Gaza, but that it is going to target for assassination Hamas leaders abroad. Now, of course, most of the Hamas figures that are trying to negotiate these ceasefire deals and are essentially running the organization politically are outside of Gaza, and many of them are in Doha, in Qatar. And of course, Israel last summer assassinated the political leader of Hamas, Ismail Haniyeh, in a strike in Tehran, Iran. It also assassinated recently, or it's also assassinated much of the on-the-ground leadership of the Qassam brigades, the armed wing of Hamas, as well as the political leader in Gaza of Hamas, Yahya Sinwar. So,
I mean, it's just so on brand for Israel. Like, Israel does this all the time. They've been doing it. They tell you that they want peace, and then they bomb. Same thing Russia does. They tell you they want peace, and then they bomb. They tell you that they are sending in aid, and then they use that aid as bait to kill more people. I for the life of me, I can't figure out how Zionists still exist. I don't know how you're still like on the side of Israel. I don't think any of you are real. I've never met anybody ever, like in real life, that holds the positions that you online people hold. My only guess is like maybe you live in Israel. Maybe you're getting some of that beachfront property. Maybe you're just a racist. Maybe you just hate Muslims. I don't know, but I can't figure out like. Everybody knows what Israel's doing. This is just an open genocide. Now we're talking about peace talks, and they're assassinating the leaders that they're going to have peace talks with. And they're doing it in Qatar. Like, they're striking. This is a different country. A different country now. Nobody should be surprised by this anymore.
Israel has a long history of assassinating Palestinian political figures. In fact, many years ago, there was an incredible story that happened where Khalid Mashal,
that was my horse's name when I was a kid,
one of the leaders of Hamas, was in Jordan in the Middle East, and Israeli Mossad agents poisoned him. And it caused a huge diplomatic uproar between Jordan and Israel. And essentially, a Mossad agent had to fly on a plane with the antidote for this poison.
That's a good point. Tyrone said Hamas is hiding in the country that gave Trump a plane.
Resuscitate Khalid Mashal. So, it's something out of a movie, but that actually happened. So, we should be watching this very carefully because Donald Trump is, put forward this vague ceasefire proposal that we're going to talk about. And it seems like anytime there's a possibility of some form of negotiation, the Israelis not only escalate on the ground in Gaza, but then increase their threats, like we're seeing now, to potentially assassinate external leadership of Hamas.
Right. I mean, Jeremy, we were talking a bit before the break, but it's very important to note, there are hundreds of thousands of Americans present in Doha, not to mention all of the troops that are there. And it is, of course, been a way station for a lot of the diplomatic talks between the United States, between the world, Hamas and Israel. And so, of course, it would be sending a message just as previous Israeli assassinations like in Tehran and elsewhere did. We did want originally to talk to you about this ceasefire proposal. We can go ahead and put it up here on the screen just so you can give us some insight. It's a 100-word ceasefire proposal from Trump to Hamas. Can you break it down for us, the level of seriousness and what exactly it means?
Well, I think first it's important to look at the broader context here. Right now, Israel is in the midst of a sort of final solution operation in Gaza City, where they're just systematically targeting these massive high-rise buildings where some of them have 100 or more apartments in them. And Netanyahu said last night that all of the residents, we're talking about 1 million people of Gaza City, need to leave immediately, or they're going to consider them Hamas combatants. So that's the backdrop of what's happening right now.
So hold up, this is Trump's ceasefire proposal? 100 words. Where are we at? 354. All hostages alive and deceased will be released within 48 hours. Numbers consistent with previous releases. Palestinian prisoners sentenced to life and detainees from Gaza. Palestinian prisoners are sentenced to life and detainees from Gaza will be released within 48 hours. A ceasefire will go into effect upon implementation for a period of 60 days or until negotiations are concluded. President Trump will guarantee that the parties negotiate in good faith. Issues will be negotiated. The definition of Hamas, the definition of disarmament, the formation of a new government, the withdrawal of Israeli forces, an open flow of aid into Gaza upon implementation of the agreement. Look, I don't think it's real. This looks like a fucking setup. We went to a negotiation with this. This is what our negotiators came up with. Like, how do you even implement this? This is so fucking generic. Yeah, Johnny Mac said it's a trap. How do you argue that it's not? This is so generic. And then as soon as they're together and they know where the Hamas negotiators are, they strike. Has Trump said anything about this? Jen, will you see if Trump has commented on the Doha strikes? I mean, I'm trying not to be cynical, but if this isn't a setup, then we don't know how to do a ceasefire. We don't know how to create a ceasefire that you could actually implement.
Of what's happening right now is this intensification by Israel. Hamas, 3 weeks ago on August 18th, actually accepted what Qatari mediators said was 98% of the terms of what was called the Witkoff framework. This was the deal that's being negotiated for months that would have been a 60-day ceasefire where half of the Israeli living captives and half of the deceased captives would have been released in exchange for a large number of Palestinians held by Israel. And Hamas made massive concessions and agreed to this framework. And then Israel never responded to it. And what happened is that the Trump administration and the Israeli government said, oh, no, we don't want that deal anymore. We want now an all-in deal where Hamas immediately releases all Israeli captives, living and dead. And so what we obtained was a 100-word summary of what Donald Trump has communicated.
Okay, it's a summary. I feel a little better about that. I'd like to see the actual details.
To Hamas. And what it basically says is that within 48 hours of signing an agreement, Hamas would need to release every single Israeli that it's holding captive, and that a certain number of Palestinians, it doesn't specify how many, some of whom are serving life sentences, others who were snatched from Gaza after October 7th would be released. It says that there would be a 60-day ceasefire, and that Donald Trump would take responsibility for ensuring that the ceasefire held while negotiations to formally end the war took place. What it also says is that there would need to be a new government installed in Gaza in order to even discuss Israeli troop withdrawals. It does say that there will be aid allowed into Gaza, but it doesn't specify how much aid, who would distribute.
What are the Israelis going to be okay with in Gaza for a government? You see how they treat Palestinians. They think all Palestinians are Hamas. Every time any of us say free Palestine, they're like, oh, you support Hamas. That's what the Israelis think. That's what the Americans think. Who are you possibly going to, which Palestinians do you think these folks trust to run the government? This feels just brutally like a setup. And yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, they want to occupy it. Look, I think they're going to do it. I just think they're going to do it. And I don't think the U.S. is going to stand in the way. And that's blood on the hands of the United States right now. We are back. We are back to being an occupying force. We are back. We're down in Venezuela. We're going to stand by and let this happen. There's no conclusion here. Obviously we don't have a ceasefire. We're not going to agree. We're not going to agree to nonsense. Israel's never going to agree to let a single Palestinian run the government. They're just going to do it. And they're just stringing us along right now, pretending that they want peace. How do you go to a peace agreement? No peace. And what of our relations like? Isn't Qatar one of the Abraham Accords countries? Where's this Middle East peace agreement we were talking about? Isn't that what the Abraham Accords were? Remember when you guys were like, Trump brought peace to the Middle East? Oh, it's fucking peaceful, isn't it?
The aid. So, talking privately to officials from Hamas, they have compared this essentially to a surrender document. They suspect that it was written by Israel. The Arabic, where the document was presented in Arabic, was clumsy Arabic, strange word choices. So Hamas is speculating that it was written by Israel, and we know that has happened in the past with U.S. proposals. But then Amir Sagal, one of the top propagandists for Netanyahu on Israeli public television, he himself came out and said that this is an Israeli proposal wrapped in fancy American cellophane. And he said the quiet part out loud. So what I think we're seeing here is...
are we tired of being the bitch? Are we tired of being Netanyahu's bitch? Why the fuck are we letting this guy just do this? Why do we let him make us look bad? Jen said there are churches in Indy flying Israel's flag. Sick. Fuck those churches.
Trump, I think, genuinely wants to wrap this up, so to speak, but he wants to do it on Israel's terms. So essentially what they're doing is saying, listen, accept this surrender order from Israel, and I'll see if I can do something about maybe ending the genocide. And there's no guarantees that Israel wouldn't just get its captives back and then continue with the war of annihilation. So I think it's extremely unlikely, if not flat out impossible, that Hamas would agree to such a
Jeremy,
proposal.
while you were talking, go ahead.
We have an update from Barak Ravid tweeted from senior Israeli officials, quote, the explosion in Doha is an assassination operation against senior Hamas officials. So it would appear to be confirmation of what you and others
Jesus Christ, they're not even hiding it? Holy fuck, that changed since we started. I hadn't watched this video yet. What the fuck? How are you pro-Israel? How? What the fuck? What the fuck? They're just allowed to just go to Qatar during peace agreements and bomb people? Bro, what the fuck is Israel? Fuck Israel. Jen, did you find, I know you were looking, did Trump say anything? Does anybody in the chat know? I know Jen's probably looking. Has Trump mentioned this yet? What's our stance as America here?
No, I found something. The one thing I was just pulling up, that Trump feels very bad about Israel strikes.
Oh, okay. That fixes it. There we go.
And then I also saw something else that said that the White House was notified prior.
Jesus, they knew. So now we're complicit. Is this somebody said it, but this is the 5th country that Israel has bombed this year. How can somebody be pro-Palestine? Because we have hearts. Like, sorry, I don't like genocide. That's why. How are you not pro-Palestine? How are you sit here and you watch this and you're not like these poor Palestinians? What a bunch of fucking losers you guys are. Jesus Christ.
The first article that talks about that he feels bad. I haven't read them closely, but the White House on Tuesday said President Trump feels very bad about the location of Israel strikes. And then the next one is that they were notified.
God, he's such a bitch. All right, Ben. All right, BB. Whatever you say, BB. I'll do anything, BB. Unless Vladimir calls, then I'll probably do what Vladimir wants. This guy is such a cucky little bitch. It's crazy. How the fuck are we cucked out to Israel?
What's going on there?
Yeah, and again, I mean, there was a very long history of Israel assassinating Palestinian political figures, not just within the borders of historic Palestine, but externally. And again, Israel openly has said in recent days that if Hamas doesn't surrender and demilitarize and give up its arms and release the Israeli captives, that it was going to begin targeting the external leadership of Hamas. And remember, this presumably would mean that they are also attempting to assassinate the very people who would be negotiating a ceasefire. And Donald Trump just days ago submitted what he said is a new proposal for a ceasefire. So doing that and then turning around and assassinating the negotiators while they're deliberating a proposal from the president of the United States sends a message that the U.S. is backing Israel in just constantly choosing to murder Palestinians instead of using diplomatic roads, when the Palestinians have said repeatedly they're open to an agreement either in phases to release half the Israeli captives within 60 days and the other half once a ceasefire is negotiated, or to do an all-for-all deal. And again, Hamas made major concessions. And I think it's worth pointing out, among the concessions they made was allowing the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation to continue operating, despite the fact that upwards of 2,000...
Which is crazy, because the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, if we have time, we'll get to it. They're literally just like staging these drops for food, and then they're coordinating with the IDF, and then the IDF is just like sniping people.
Palestinians have been killed seeking aid since May when they started. They backed off of their demand that there be a clear timeline for withdrawal of Israeli forces from the strategic Philadelphia corridor. They reduced the number of Palestinians that they were demanding be freed in return for Israeli captives.
Thanks, Pristine Biscuit, and congrats on your Pristine Biscuit.
And they also agreed to allow an Israeli-enforced buffer zone to encircle the entirety of the Gaza Strip, at some points piercing 1,500 meters inside of Gaza. And Israel and the United States never formally responded to that offer. So, if this is true, then what they're doing, beyond the fact that they're conducting assassinations on Qatari soil, which also houses U.S. CENTCOM, which also is the lead mediator in these talks, they are killing the very people that Donald Trump just sent an offer to try to reach a ceasefire deal.
Thanks, Sid.
Wow. Jeremy, this may be a dumb question, but it's pretty clear that that Israel and the U.S. are just seeking unconditional surrender.
Can I just point out one other thing? Like this dude, Sagar, like this program, Crystal and Sagar, is like Hannity and Combs, except for Sagar is Combs and he has a backbone. That might be like a dated reference for some of you, but like Sean Hannity's show used to be Hannity and Combs. There's this guy named Alan Combs who was like the biggest pussy of a Democrat you've ever seen, and he'd be like, I don't know if that's true, Sean. Why are you picking on Democrats? It was just like he was just like a pincushion. But like Saagar, the whole point in Breaking Points is you're gonna have Crystal and Saagar. You're gonna have somebody from the right and somebody from the left, and they were gonna have discussions. Saagar was like, he was Trump. He was, I wouldn't say MAGA, but he was like pretty pro-Trump not that long ago. This entire, because he is forced to listen to people like Jeremy Scahill and Ryan Grimm, like he's gone. Like he's off the Trump train because of this. Because like, how do you sit here and you cover this information every day and watch a genocide happen and know that Trump's enabling it? In some ways, like cheerleading it, like publicly, he's like, oh, I feel very bad about this, and then does nothing. This is, and Saagar's not alone. Like the world is turning on this, and this is like, fuck politics for a minute. For just like 1 minute, fuck politics. As an American, as somebody who claims, like, let's say that you say, I'm proud to be an American, and being American means something to you, and seeing that flag means something to you, and the history of this country means something to you. Is there a more, like, is there a more obvious example of the United States being on the wrong side of history? Where is your American pride? Where is your pride and freedom? What happened to all you folks? How is it that you're just going to sit here and watch this happen, and in some cases cheerlead it? You're broken, man. You're absolutely broken if you are watching this and you're like, well, Israel has a right to defend itself. You're just broken. You've stopped thinking for yourself. You've started just being like, everything in my life revolves around Donald Trump and what he says, and it is my responsibility to defend and support everything he does.
Terms that you just laid out effectively, I mean, would not only lead to a quote unquote new government, but is really continued occupation, control of the so-called buffer zone. What?
Go live in Palestine? I can't, Scott. I can't live in Palestine. Even if I wanted to live in Palestine, Scott, I can't get in because they're doing a fucking genocide right now and they won't let anybody in. What a dumb fucking thing to say, Scott. What a dumb fucking thing to say. And how fucking dumb are you, Scott? That's your best response? We're doing a genocide. Oh, if you don't like it so much, why don't you just leave? Why don't you get a fucking conscience? How about that, Scott? How about you grow a pair of balls and you come up here and have a conversation with me? How about that, Scott? You're a goddamn internet troll, and you're on the internet telling people to go live in Palestine during a genocide. And yeah, I'm pissed. But like, honestly, fuck you. And fuck everyone like you. Fuck your mom, fuck your dad, fuck your sister. Fuck all of them. Everybody who thinks like you can go fuck themselves. You're not American exceptionalism. You're not the American values. You're a little bitch commenting on somebody else's stream, cheerleading an 80-year-old genocidal maniac who shits his pants every day, can't function, can't write, can't spell, can't read, can't do math, doesn't understand economics, unilaterally destroying the country, and you're such a dipshit that you come in here and you go, well, I live in Palestine. That's why we're fucked. Like, I'm not even that mad at you. I'm just disappointed that in America, people like you even fucking exist. And there's like a not insignificant number of you where I don't know what's in your brain. I don't know why like no new thoughts can get in there and rattle around. I don't know if like you stuffed some shit in there, like you filled it up with crazy, like that Flex Seal. I don't know. But for some reason, you as an adult human being have just like chosen, I'm a fucking idiot. I'm not going to learn new things, but I am going to suck Donald Trump's dick 24/7. As long as I'm awake, that dick is in my mouth. And I'm gonna laugh at things like a goddamn genocide. This is why we are losing in America. This is why Vladimir Putin, Xi, and Modi are sitting there hugging and laughing, because they've had this stated goal to bring down America forever. And what they're they're literally just going, oh, Trump's doing it for us. How's he doing it? Well, he has a bunch of dipshits who have sold their souls to him. And because he's a fucking dipshit, they're just going to follow him. They don't even know that they're dipshits. So they're laughing while our foreign relations across the world have been destroyed. We're a laughingstock. Nobody wants to do business in America anymore. They're desperately trying to find ways to not do business in America. Meanwhile, this little tiny country in the Middle East, Israel, has convinced Christian Americans that somehow, even though their religion thinks that your savior was a phony, by the way, you get mad at me when I say it, is the Jews in Israel think that you guys made this whole shit up. They think Jesus made this whole shit up, that he was a phony, that he was a false prophet, and that he lied about being the Son of God. And somehow these people who think your entire religion is a break-off full of bullshit, they've convinced you that it's very important for you that Israel be allowed to do genocides. And they just got Donald Trump by the collar, leading him around, and you're following him like, yay, this is where we're going now. The lack of self-respect that some of you have is astonishing. Why are we letting Bibi Netanyahu drag us into war after war after war? And why are you cheerleading it if for any other, like, what other reason could you possibly have other than you're just fucking dumb? I'm just dumb. It's what I do. I just follow Donald Trump because I'm dumb.
Exactly does Hamas see as the difference between that already, pretty extraordinary concessions considering what they started out with, as opposed to unconditional surrender? Like, why don't they just take the unconditional surrender if they're effectively signing their own demise and their own control anyways?
Well, two things. One is, and Hamas leaders have said this to me privately, they don't want to be in control of Gaza anymore. This is an albatross around the neck of Hamas, and it has been for many, many years. So, they've said quite clearly they're willing to relinquish control. The issue, though, is that while we say Hamas, it's not just Hamas. There are many Palestinian political groups, including those opposed to Hamas or that are not allied with Hamas, including those that have no armed factions but are political parties that stand for elections, that also have been part of these negotiations. And what they all have said...
Yeah, Scott took off. And by the way, to you other people, like, Hamas started it. Yeah, if somebody punches me in the face, can I go, like, do a genocide on their family? Is that appropriate? Like, even then, like, do you ever, like, have a conversation with yourself and be like, Hamas started this. Okay, so what was the appropriate response? Anything they want. Israel's response to Hamas starting these recent events is anything they want. They can bomb other countries. They can do a genocide. They can force starve children. They can shoot children with sniper rifles for the fuck of it. Like, where does it end? Do you guys ever go past, like, your initial thought, ever? Or is this like what we've learned about MAGA? MAGA just asks a question and then they stop. Does Israel have a right to defend itself? Then the world waits for an answer, and you're like, oh, I just ask a question. My entire ideology is just a fucking question. Where does it stop? Because of what happened on October 7th? I want you to say with your full chest, what happened on October 7th means that we can genocide an entire population. We can starve children to death. When those children are recovering in a hospital, it's all right if we bomb that hospital. And then after that hospital's bombed and in come the first responders to try and save people, we'll just bomb it again because we got to take out those first responders too. Have any of you ever like just thought this through? Or are you all this lazy? We don't think for ourselves. We don't really think at all. We just, no matter what, we come on these streams and we hear what the libs are saying. And if they criticize Trump, we just immediately say, you're wrong. Donald Trump is great. Liberal tears, MAGA 2028. Same shit that you say every day.
Is that our right to bear arms in opposition to an illegal occupation by a colonial apartheid state is a legitimate right. And so while Hamas could say, okay, we step down from power, we're not going to exist anymore in this format, they're not going to sign a document that says we agree to demilitarize the Gaza Strip. In fact, they've said we don't have the right to do that, that is a question for the Palestinian people. And consistently in public opinion polls, Palestinians support the right to armed resistance. I think at the end of the day, the direct answer to your question is that they view that not as a surrender of Hamas as a political entity or a movement, but that it would be them taking the outrageous action of surrendering the Palestinian cause of liberation. And whatever anyone thinks of Hamas, I think that's a true statement, given that Hamas is used as kind of the catch-all to describe Palestinian armed resistance right now. The fact is that the armed struggle, far predates Hamas. And if Hamas surrendered...
All right, now Qatar is saying that the White House is lying. Surprise, surprise. The administration of President Donald Trump has said it notified Qatari officials before Israel's attack on Hamas negotiators in Doha, a claim refuted by the Gulf country. The statement from the White House on Tuesday came hours after the strike on a residential area in the Gulf's county capital, Doha. Qatar has been a lead mediator in U.S.-backed ceasefire talks aimed at ending the war in Gaza. The Trump administration was notified by the United States military that Israel was attacking Hamas, which very unfortunately was located in the section of Doha, the capital of Qatar. It's very unfortunate. So, yeah, it happened. Doha they just happened to be there. The fuck does that mean? Which was very unfortunately was located in a section of Doha. That's not unfortunate. It's not unfortunate. It's Israel attacking another country. That's not unfortunate. That's an act of war. Unilaterally bombing inside Qatar, a sovereign nation and close ally of the United States that is working very hard and bravely taking risks with us to broker peace, does not advance Israel or America's goals, she said. However, eliminating Hamas, who have profited off the misery of those living in Gaza, is a worthy goal. Wait, so this doesn't help anybody, but fuck it. Levitt added that Trump directed his special envoy Steve Witkoff to inform the Qataris of the impending attack. However, Qatar refuted the characterization, with a spokesperson for the foreign ministry saying claims that the government had been pre-informed of the attack are completely false. The call that was received from an American official came during the sound of the explosions. Hey, you know that sound? That's Israel. They're bombing you guys right now. Could you do something about that? No, we can't, because we're bitches. And Bibi just does whatever he wants, and we don't have a say. Because Donald Trump is a goddamn cuck to Bibi Netanyahu. You fucking pussies. Every fucking one of you MAGA. You are such pussies. And, Netanyahu had to do it. Bro, he's making a mockery of you. He's just openly doing what he wants. And he's like, Donald Trump's not going to do shit. Donald Trump's not going to do a goddamn thing because he is my bitch. He's telling you guys that. He's telling you. Your guy's a bitch. And you're like, no, he's not. Actually, he's playing 4D chess. Everybody else respects Donald Trump. He's the one that's running this. No, he's not. Donald Trump is getting played everywhere he goes. This is what happens when you elect an 80-year-old dipshit. This is what happens. None of you noticed for 3 years that Donald Trump can't complete a sentence, that he never makes any sense, that every time he opens his mouth, you guys have to like create a new interpretation of what he said. How come every Donald Trump press conference ends with what he was saying was? How come you always have to clarify what he was saying? It's because he's fucking dumb, and he can't speak, and he doesn't know what's going on, and he gets played so easily. All of these people are just playing him. We notified them. It turns out you didn't. Hamas said the attack killed 5 of its members, but its main negotiating team survived. Among the dead was a Qatari security officer. Now what do you do if you're Qatar? Are you Bibi's bitch too? Well, it's okay. It's okay. The country's interior ministry said Qatar's Ministry of Foreign Affairs has decried the Israeli attack as cowardly while condemning any action targeting its security and sovereignty. All right. God, you guys are bitches.
Itself and dismantles and no longer exists, another group of Palestinians are going to rise up under the same type of banner with the same aim to repel Israel's occupation and liberate Palestine by any means necessary, including armed force. So, you have to look at this not in the context of October 7th, but in the context.
If you're talking about Joe Biden right now, like you're proving my point. You're an absolute bitch. I don't want to. They're saying bad things about Donald Trump. I must change the subject to Joe Biden. I can't admit that me and my president are bitches. This is too close to home. We're making too many good points. We better talk about Joe Biden. It's telling that none of you have a response to this. It's telling that all you want to do is talk about the past instead of like, by the way, when if this happened under Joe Biden, I'd be calling him a bitch. I criticize Joe Biden for this all the time. And any Democrat who stood by, like Richie Torres is going to do today, a Democrat, if Richie Torres doesn't condemn this, I'm also going to call him a bitch. Tomorrow, after we go through all of this, if I see Democrats standing with Israel after this, I'm going to call every one of them a bitch. But you're still a bitch. And the fact that you went to Biden makes you even more of a bitch because you can't even form an argument for this. I don't know why he's doing this. All I know is I do not like this pressure. I don't like that I don't have answers. So Joe Biden.
Of 76 years of history. And I think that genuinely is how the Hamas negotiators view this.
Jeremy, last question I have for you is, do you find it plausible that Israel could have gone forward with this assassination operation without, at least in some way, having been greenlit by the U.S.?
There were some reports that Donald Trump had relayed to Hamas that was an option on the table. Mm-hmm. When I spoke to Hamas leaders over the past several days.
Hey, guys, Scott's back. Scott went and changed his pants and he came back. And I criticized Biden. So, Scott, make up your mind. Or do you care? I bet you criticized Biden. I bet you were one of those people criticizing Biden. But now that it's Trump, everything is cool, right?
None of them said that that was true. They didn't exactly say that it was false, but they said, not that I know of, not according to my information. It would surprise me if there wasn't some form of consultation with Donald Trump. And look, the guy just greenlit this strike on the boat off of Venezuela.
Right.
There's still questions about who the people were that they killed.
Yeah.
He greenlit an assassination of Qasem Soleimani in his first term, bombing him in a third country in
I'm with you, Jeffrey. Torres is a bitch.
Baghdad, Iraq. So, do I know that Donald Trump was aware of this? No. Do I suspect it? Yes.
I mean, Jeremy, as you laid out, CENTCOM is there. Nothing's flying in the airspace over there without U.S. At least my own personal speculation, in terms of pure deconfliction, right? For making sure that U.S. assets don't get confused. This is still an extraordinary message. That's actually my last question. How is the Gulf going to handle this? So if you are the UAE, if you're Saudi Arabia, and I know they have complicated relations themselves with Qatar, obviously, but I mean, for them, the answer has to be: you can house U.S. troops, you can buy hundreds of billions of dollars in U.S. arms, and you still may see basically, explosions and attacks by a U.S. ally on your soil. I mean, doesn't it undermine a lot of...
I had to scroll up to see if JR was a bot. JR, you said, if I'm so smart, why don't I run for office? That's not the argument here. The argument is you're fucking stupid. Just a regular person. Just like any normal human being can see this for what it is. You guys are remarkably dumb. I'm not like... It's not like I'm some genius. We're watching what happens. It's clear that Bibi Netanyahu controls Donald Trump. It's clear that Trump can't tell him no. It's clear that even when Trump tries to warn Bibi, he's just like, I'm doing it anyways because he's a bitch and you're a bitch. And so again, you have to attack me. This isn't about that it takes a rocket scientist to understand this stuff. It's that I can't believe there are adult human beings like yourself who can't figure this out. It's incredibly frustrating. It's like I've taught you 1 + 1 is 2 over and over and over again, and yet every time I'm like 1 + 1, and you're like, pickle. Is it pickle? No, it's 2. It's 2, JR. The answer to 1 + 1 is 2. Let's try it again. 1 + 1 equals what, JR? Pickle. It's just like, no matter what, just nothing's getting through. I'm concerned. I'm concerned about all of you guys. I'm concerned about your ability to process information. I'm concerned with anybody who still thinks Donald Trump is anything more than a grifting dipshit. But go ahead. I dare you to go read a transcript of Trump's last press conference and just tell me what he's saying. Just explain it. I dare you. Because you won't be able to. It'll be nonsense. When you read a transcript from a Trump press conference, it doesn't make any sense. And every time you have to trot out like Caroline Leavitt, and they're like, what the fuck? And she's like, this is just typical media bias. You guys don't know what Trump really meant to say. How come Caroline Leavitt every day has to go, what Trump really meant to say? You're probably a fucking idiot if you have to pay somebody every day to go in front of a microphone and go, what he meant to say is, maybe this guy's not that bright. Maybe if he can't form sentences that make any sense at all, then maybe he shouldn't be president. And maybe, just maybe, we have a glimpse into why these Epstein files aren't coming out. It's interesting that now that the Epstein files are front and center, Netanyahu and Vladimir Putin are like, fuck it, we're going bombs away, baby. Bombs away. Because the truth is, they probably know what's in there. They probably have access to those files. Elon probably gave Russia access to those files, whether on purpose or not. We know that that Israel and Russia both hacked. Is Bree here? Bree, what's the name of that system that we have? Or if anybody else knows, what's the secure system that the DOJ uses that Russia and Israel have hacked? They have all, and remember they asked Ted Cruz about it, and Ted Cruz is like, Israel already knows everything. It's not Palantir, that's the company. It's is Bree here? Does anybody know the name of it? Not Cambridge Analytica, not Signal. No, it's Pacer. Thank you. Chell's got it. It's Pacer. They hacked Pacer, which is all of our, I think that's where we house our court documents, right? So does it make sense after these hacks happen? And China has it too. After this hack happens, all of a sudden everybody in the world is calling our bluff. Do you recognize that? China's saying, get fucked. Japan says, get fucked. India says, get fucked. Russia says, get fucked. Brazil says, get fucked. The UK says, get fucked. The whole world is telling us to go fuck ourselves because everybody knows our president is just like an invalid bitch. He will do nothing. They all know it. He has no leverage over any of them, and they all have leverage on him. And so that's why you're seeing these increased, just like brazen attempts. Israel knows the U.S. is going to back them. They're like, what's Trump going to do if we bomb in Doha? What's he going to do? We'll release the Epstein files. And so Trump's like, well, I really didn't like this very much. Vladimir Putin meets with Trump, said something. Everybody came out of there like, fuck, that wasn't a good meeting. And he just starts bombing. And then he goes and like has a circle jerk with Xi and Modi. They're laughing. China's calling our bluff on tariffs. South Korea. So how about South Korea? We had ICE raid the Hyundai plant. And I don't know if we didn't even get to this. I guess we're not going to get to it today. We have ICE raid the Hyundai plant. And what's the repercussions? South Korea made one phone call to Trump and said, hey, bitch, you're losing all your trade wars. Do you really want to lose this one too? You want to lose this plant? You want to lose these jobs? You want to lose American manufacturing? He's like, no, I don't want to. And they're like, okay, give all of these people work visas. Okay. And then he goes out, ICE did a good job, but maybe we should just give them work visas is what I was thinking. I came up with that thought myself. I was thinking that we should just give them work visas. But ICE, you still did a good job. And now all of these people have work visas because South Korea is like, dude, you don't have leverage. How much longer do we have to be led by like, I've used this before, but I'm a 49ers fan. And there was this one year we had Jim Harbaugh and it like kind of ended. We had the Colin Kaepernick stuff, which obviously like you had a bunch of dipshit Republicans that were angry about that. And the 49ers made this weird decision. And they said, you know what we're going to do with a new coach this time? We're going to take this special teams coordinator who nobody has ever wanted to hire to be the head coach ever before. And we're going to put him in charge. And it went horribly. The whole thing fell apart. In one season, Jim Tomsula ruined like the franchise for the foreseeable future. And that's who Trump is. And everybody outside of San Francisco and the diehard fans like myself, everybody, you like every organization's like, what the fuck are the 49ers doing? Every analyst, every former GM, they're like, what? Jim Tomsula? You went with Jim Tomsula? This is going to be a nightmare for you guys. And it was. They were all right. And like unanimously, they're like, what are you doing? That's the whole world right now. And we got Jim Tomsula trotting out there every day like, I'm winning. No, you're not. You're getting absolutely walked over. Because Trump talked like a tough guy. And so you guys bought it. You're like, I had no choice but to be subservient. I'm a Republican, and he came right into our party, and he just took the whole fucking thing over. And he's got us supporting socialism now. But that's us. We're just the type of bitches that get walked over. And you thought the whole world would be just like you. And they're like, nah. Yeah, no thanks. You know what China said? Somebody asked Xi recently about war with the U.S. Like what if you go to war with the U.S. and he said, economically, a trade war, a physical war, we're not afraid. Like, no, we're way ahead of them. I don't know militarily. I don't know enough about that. But economically, holy Christ, this is an unfair game. This is a very, very unfair game that we're playing here. We're out there with like our 8th stringer going against President Xi. Like China's ascent has been astounding. Like China has caught and passed us in a ton of places, and everywhere that they're not catching us or passing us, like they're gaining ground. China's eating our lunch. India's eating our lunch. All these countries are eating our lunch, and they cannot believe their good fortune that they get to deal with the dumbest motherfucker we've ever put in office. And you guys have the audacity to go out there every day and be like, Donald Trump is respected. The world respects America again. No, they don't. They're walking over us. And maybe, like, you know what? Maybe we deserve it. maybe we deserve to not be a world power anymore, because we're not very good at being a world power. For my entire life as a world power, we've been just like led by Benjamin Netanyahu. Okay, bomb this country now. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How about this country now? Okay. Hey, could you sacrifice your own troops for our wars? Yeah, we'll do that. We're America. It's all right. We got more. Hey, don't bring your troops in, Israel. We'll fight your wars for you. We'll lose thousands of Americans. Don't worry about it. And they were just like stuck in endless wars in the Middle East. Nobody can figure out why. Well, we didn't find those weapons of mass destruction. It turns out bin Laden was in Pakistan. I don't really know what we did in Afghanistan. The second we left Afghanistan, the force we were fighting just took over the country again. We tried to establish democracy in Iraq, and like that's going okay, I guess. Now we're talking about regime change in Venezuela. Like the world's tired of our game. They figured it out. Everybody knows that there's like the United States is just Benjamin Netanyahu's bitch. And one day you guys are going to figure that out. One day you're going to realize it. Trillions of dollars. We have what, 38 trillion dollars in debt. How much of our debt is due to war spending? Let's look this up. What percentage of U.S. debt is war spending? Let's see. $8 trillion. We spent $8 trillion fighting Benjamin Netanyahu's war, and we have absolutely nothing to show for it. Nothing. Some of your friends are dead. Some of your family members are dead. And we got nothing. Just $8 trillion in debt. Because we want to establish democracy. No, we didn't. We were fighting Benjamin Netanyahu's wars. That's what we were doing. And we're still doing it. And now, like, now it doesn't even matter. He's killed Americans, by the way. The Israelis have killed Americans. Not a peep. Not a fucking peep. God damn, an American dies from an illegal immigrant and we go straight to mass deportations. Netanyahu kills more Americans. Let's not talk about it. I'd rather not, because Bibi might get upset about that. Mary said, worth every penny. Thank you. Sid said, stop the genocide, free Palestine. Israel is a curse and occupies the U.S. through AIPAC. Trump took roughly $230 million from AIPAC. Is that number right? Joseph said, motherfuckers were saying the world was on fire during Biden. Yeah. Is that number correct? How much has Trump taken? That seems way too high. Good Lord. Oh, no. It's right. Oh, no. No. Fuck. More than 230 million. Oh, no. I guess I forgot that Mary Madison counts as like AIPAC spending. That's 215 million. Jesus Christ. And the Republican Jewish Coalition has spent 14 million. Jesus. 14 billion in military aid and weapon sales to Israel to do a genocide. No big deal, guys. Scott, shut the fuck up. Biden was great. Shut the fuck up. I already said that Biden was terrible on Israel and a bitch, but good. Like, he looks a million times tougher than Trump when it comes to Israel. Biden, like, sometimes set a boundary. Biden, like, threatened Netanyahu, and he did at one point, like, withhold arms. Biden was bad, but he's not like dipshit Trump bad. He's bad. Biden was bad in the same way that like Bush is bad, or or like Clinton was bad, in that like AIPAC had way too much control. But Trump is bad in a whole different way. Trump is like not only beholden to Israel, but like openly beholden to them. It doesn't matter what they do. He won't criticize it. How the fuck, like, we just had peace talks and Israel did a drone strike during peace talks, and we're just going to pretend that like if that was any other country that we wouldn't be going after them right now. Donald Trump would be holding a press conference right now if that was any other country. But if it's Israel, we're just going to be real quiet. He's going to send Caroline out there. Caroline, can you go nicely say that we didn't really appreciate that? Yeah, I'll do that. All right, what time is it? It's 1. I want to show one more thing because I just thought this was great. This dude has been getting destroyed everywhere. Jonathan Cornicus, he used to be the IDF spokesperson. I hope that this doesn't get taken down for copyright music. I'm not sure, but this is the dude. If you're a Zionist, you hate him. If you're a human being, you love him. But it's Bassem Youssef. I never know if I'm saying that correctly. Watch him just destroy the former IDF spokesperson here.
Right, Bassem, your response to Jonathan. To round off. Bassem will now be allowed to speak without interruption to finish the debate. Bassem.
Here's the thing. Nobody believes you, Israel. Nobody believes you. Nobody likes you. No matter how much media covers for you, no matter how much politicians you buy to parrot your talking points, no matter how many fake influencers you hire to whitewash your face, no matter how many fake Indian-based accounts that tweet for you, no matter how many European models you bring in and you pay them so they can dance with the IDF uniform, right? Everybody can see you. Everybody can smell your bullshit, right? You are like the neighbor who firebombs everybody's house and he said why he's not invited to a house party, right? You will win in the battlefield. You will get more land because America supports you. It's like supporting a rabid dog that shits on your lawns and eats your cats and bites everybody and it's like, oh, just like you have a bad day. You will win, maybe on the battlefield, but everybody knows who you are. A bunch of heartless, psychopathic, demonic assholes.
Right, Bassem, your response.
Yeah. Every one of us, that's what we want to say. Johnny said, I'm a dead inside veteran. That's why I'm so weird. Yeah, thanks, BB. Thanks for that. David Pacman exposed to being paid by the DNC. Not the DNC, I don't think. It was the 1630 project, right? You guys are desperate to talk about anything but this. It is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Yeah, I do think some of these are bots. If Scott can't be tagged, just block him. We don't allow you guys to come in here and talk and not be able to be responded to. We do free speech, but not if you're not willing to hear the responses from the other people. So YouTube mods, if Scott's somebody who you can't tag and respond to, we can get him out of here. All right, let me check messages, then we're gonna get out of here. I don't think I missed any there. Oh, Jen's out of here. Jen had to go pick up her daughter. All right. I think we got it. Did I miss anything today? Let me check the chats. Is there anything I said I would cover today or miss or any questions before we get out of here? Hi, Bree. I don't know what. Am I in trouble? What did I do? Anytime my name has an exclamation point by it, I feel like I did something wrong. Thanks, Casey. Now you're saying it too. What? What did I miss? The Bree song? We just want the Bree song? Is that what this is? Tell us how much Soros and others are paying you, Todd. Zero, Todd. Zero. The fun fact about me, Todd, is that Democrats don't like me either. And the people that fund Democrat creators, they're not going to fund me. You can ask anybody. Read, bitch. Read what? Check PayPal? I did. Nothing came through on PayPal. I'm checking it. It's not through. There have been a couple of movements that have happened. Like we kind of started on TikTok. There's been a couple movements that started there where it would have made a lot of sense. Just if you just look at people's audiences, it would have made sense to include me in a lot of these movements. I've never been invited. Not one single person. Not one organization. I don't remember what was the TikTok group that like paid everybody, or that did the Unfuck America tour. Not a peep from there. You can go look at the Unfuck America tour, and like see if those people were reaching an audience bigger than mine. Like some of them, Parker and Dean certainly were, but like I don't know if anybody else on that tour was reaching a bigger audience than me. Didn't even get an invite, and I think that had more to do with Mr. Jones than anything. I think that. For whatever reason on the left, I am persona non grata. You'll notice you ever see me do lives with them? You ever see me like collaborate with other people? Not one creator on the left that I can think of in the last year has like reached out to do any project together. The people that were just barely getting paid through the 1630 project, through whatever, like some of the people there, that was a lot of those people being paid were bigger than me, but some of those people weren't. Some of those people were substantially smaller than my audience and didn't get an email. All that stuff's in my bio too. I'm not hard to find. So you guys can say whatever you want about like me getting paid, but the reality is, and everybody who follows me knows, like I am crowdfunded. I will be crowdfunded. If I ever disappear, it's because you guys don't care what I have to say anymore. And I think that that's the way that I think that's the way that it should be. I think it should be that way. People pay for memberships. People send super chats. People send gifts on TikTok. People send PayPals and Venmos. And you'll see, like at the end of the year, I'm going to have to file my taxes. If you want, I think people may be able to see that. I don't know how public that's going to be, but yeah, I'm not somebody that I think is viewed as being able to be bought, if I had to guess. Or I've just pissed off like a ton of people on the left, because I'm not very well liked by the people on the left. Not at all. The biggest creators on the left, I have no relationship with. None. Even the ones on TikTok. No relationship. So maybe it's me. Maybe it's them. Maybe it's something else. I'm putting my money on it's me, and that people don't want to work with me, and that's okay. But it is interesting to get accused of being paid when, like, I wouldn't be. I haven't been approached, and Jen can back me on this. Like, I won't. Jen and I disagree on this. Jen does think we should take money, and I get it, because like it'd be nice to have that extra money. I don't want to. I don't even want to have that over my head. So maybe like we'll run ads at some point for companies for products that we believe in. But the goal is to always be crowdfunded. I never want to be a plant. Even if you look at the stuff that came out from whatever the fuck that, what is that what was that thing called, that whatever that group is that they all just got in trouble for? I forget what it's even called. But like even then, like they had to go to this meeting every single day. They had a Zoom meeting every day, and the Zoom meeting said, here are like the new, this is like the main news of the day. And they didn't tell the creators that like you have to cover this. They said, here's the main news. And some creators chose to take that and just make that their whole program. And other people said, I'm not going to cover that. But what it did do is it provided like, it provided these creators with a shortcut and something where they could be lazy. And so if they wanted to, and I'm not accusing anybody of being lazy, but like if they wanted to, they could take what they were given every morning and they could make that entire thing their show. Chorus, thank you. They could make that entire outline their show. That's not how I do things. I want this show to be like what I am interested in. And so, and in some ways, like that's going to be curated by my algorithm. Like I can't just wake up and read every newspaper. So like I have a process for what I cover every day. But at the very least, like it's going to be at most, it's going to be dictated by my algorithm, which is in some ways dictated by me and the people that I follow. But like when you come here, you're going to know that like nobody gave me this script. And a lot of times I may sound like some of the other people. We may have common interests, but I'm wary of that. I don't follow people like that. Honestly, I have no interest in following David Pakman. I don't find a lot of like, I don't find that he provides much for me. Or for people. I don't like that like whitewashed like all the people that post the videos this weekend of Trump getting booed. I feel like there's different types of online creators, and I really am not trying to like throw shade at these people, because I understand like David Pakman has a massive audience. I will likely never have an audience that size. But it's because I don't do something that is like for everybody. And I'm not trying to criticize, do your thing. But there are some people that are there to like get you to rah, be part of the left or be a Democrat. There are some people that are there to just like do, like show the clips of Trump being booed. And that's going to get a ton of views and a ton of likes, and they'll make their money and whatever. Like, I don't have a problem with that. But to me, that's more entertainment, or it's more like team shit. And I fucking hate the Democrats. I cannot stand the Democrats. I don't want people to view me as being on their team, even though they do. So again, not trying to throw shade at them, but I think you'll be very surprised if I ever take money. Maybe check my finances if I start taking corporate money. Maybe I had like some gambling debts I didn't pay. All right. Jay and Oslo debates would be great. Ed and Brian are good. They're all right. Boring as sin. All right, sorry, but I'm sorry that you're boring. Maybe it's Maybelline. Fuck Israel. Phil says woo woo. Joseph said this is to block Scott. This says Black Scott, but I think you meant block Scott. Johnny said, why did you laugh at me? I don't know, Johnny. I don't remember. Because you said you're dead inside, and that's why you were so weird. And I laugh at things when I'm uncomfortable. Purple Kitty said, because your rants are amazing. Thank you. All right, guys. I'll be back tomorrow morning, every weekday morning, 9:30 a.m. to 1 Pacific Standard Time here, wherever you're watching. Again, remember, Monday, we're starting our members-only event, which will be 3 Mondays in a row. Make sure you're a paid subscriber either on YouTube, Twitch, or Discord, and you can join that members-only event. I know there's about 80, I think there's 80 something of you that have been gifted subs. If your subs are active, you'll be able to get in, but just know that like when the gifted sub goes away, you'll lose that access later on. So make sure you're a paid subscriber anywhere, like on YouTube, Twitch, TikTok. I don't even know how much, but it's somewhere around like $5. It goes a long way. Our goal is to get to 1,000 paid subscribers. And at that point, that gives us a lot of flexibility to do the things that we want to do, pay our bills, and bring on new guests, and maybe go do some more like in-person stuff. But anyways, I guys appreciate it so much today. You knocked it out of the park with that dollar train. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you have stuff you want me to cover, don't be afraid to DM it to me. I try my best to get to it. The best place to DM me is either going to be on Twitter or Discord. TikTok, I just never check them. I always forget to check them there. But anyways, other than that, guys, take care of yourselves. Drink some water, say something good about yourself. Stay cute and cool, and have a great, great summer.